JustinFREAKIN, the formidable voice of the culture.
Hey Justin, are you trolling?
This is the Troll Patrol, live with JustinFREAKIN.
They are coping so hard in MAGA world right now. They're apparently hinging their entire worlds on the fact that they say that a whistleblower from ABC is coming forward, is going to provide proof that Kamala Harris had the questions beforehand. Because what other conspiracies can they come up with? Flash, Freedom, DJ Dub, good evening. Welcome. Clinically, how are you, my friend? The usual, just the usual in the news. What's the usual in the news? Well, it's just another day in mass shooting USA. We shot a billionaire into space. Let him do the first ever commercial spacewalk. 40 million gallons of shit have been spilled in Florida. A train and a semi-truck collided in South Carolina. A 15-hour standoff came to an end in in New Hampshire. 3 people were shot in Dallas. Is in custody after a shooting situation in Colorado this morning. A man outside of the Israeli consulate set himself on fire. This is the third such self-immolation since the attack on October 7th. We do not know if he is alive at this moment in time. We'll try to get some info because the story I have is a little bit old, so we'll see if we can get an update on it. Wild news coming out of New York City, where they have apparently replaced their police commissioner. The police commissioner has stepped down. New acting police commissioner named. We're going to meet the guy. We're going to find out what he's all about, as well as hear from a bar owner who said he's been shaken down by the NYPD. Plus, at 9 o'clock, we've got Arizona's 5th Congressional District debate between Andy Biggs, the Republican incumbent who is batshit fucking crazy, and Democratic challenger Katrina Schaffner. Katrina Schaffner going up against Andy Biggs. This is a tight race. It leans Republican, I believe, but Katrina Schaffner has a shot. That will be 9 o'clock tonight. That is Arizona's 5th Congressional District. If you did not get enough debate on Tuesday, I got you covered tonight. So we're going to try to get through the news really fast.
Up yours.
Oh, God, I didn't reset my draw.
We'll see who cancels who.
Rudy and Jordan Peterson at the same time. God. That's a tag team you don't want to face. Launching billionaires into space. Bringing them back. I just noticed I don't have a bandana on. I kind of feel a little naked. Flash, I might. Here's the thing, and this is a little inside baseball, is my project files are so old that like Premiere's had a bunch of updates and my project files don't work right anymore, and like every time I try to open them they give me problems. They're buggy all to hell, but like I need the shit that's in them in order to make clips, make graphics, blah blah blah. Yeah, I know. Basically my program has gotten so many updates that the save files from 5 years ago, the magic electricity and the magic internet box. Yes, exactly. Hold on, I'm gonna put a bandana on. I don't feel right without the bandana. Not that I'm self-conscious about that, because I went outside. I went across the road. I had no bandana on. I didn't mind. It's not like I'm trying to hide my baldness. I just like it better with a bandana. Just throw that out there. I'm also not high enough for this shit. Color should we go with? You guys got? I'll let you pick. Pick a color. I was gonna go with the tie-dyed one. You can, if you pick a color, I will go with it. Tie-dyed one is awfully pretty. One chimes in. I'll switch bandits. Baby vomit. God damn it, I got it. This is the color that you had in mind. Baby vomit green. Can't wait to have my hair back. I don't know if I ever wear this one. It's awfully ugly. I didn't put it on the sheet tonight, but just know the manhunt in Kentucky still underway. They have not caught the fucker yet. Still have not caught the fucker. Let's get to the news because we have limited time until we get to the Arizona Congressional debate. Starting off tonight, Georgia has dropped 2 counts in the election interference case against Donald Trump. Still facing charges, but 2 of the counts have been dropped.
We have some breaking news coming at you tonight. A Fulton County judge dismissing 2 criminal counts against former President Donald Trump because they are, quote, beyond the state's jurisdiction.
11 Alive's Grace King joining us now after receiving a copy of the judge's order. So, Grace, the case currently stalled for unrelated reasons, but what does this mean if the case moves forward?
It means the president will be facing fewer charges if they go to trial. And that means that, of course, Judge Scott McAfee dismissed 3 total counts in his new ruling this afternoon, 2 that involve Donald Trump. Count 15 accused Trump and several others of unlawfully conspiring to file a fake certificate of voters from the 2020 electors from Georgia. That was later mailed to a federal judge. Count 27 accused the former president and his former attorney of filing a document in court that contained at least 1 false statement about improper votes from people who were dead, underage, convicted.
Oh, thank you, Freedom.
Not registered. McAfee quashed those charges and 1 other charge against 3 of Trump's co-defendants because he found they aren't within the state's jurisdiction. McAfee issued a similar ruling earlier this year, dismissing 3 other counts against Trump. At this point, only 8 of the 13 counts that he was originally indicted on remain.
You said only 8 of the 13. That's still the majority, you know. Still the majority of them. Trump heard the news while he was on stage at a rally. I have his reaction for you to hearing that 2 of the charges have been dismissed in Georgia.
You saw it. Well, you saw it. Well, you saw it.
Doing the double dick suck.
You saw it.
That was Trump's reaction to having 2 of his counts dropped in Georgia. He also apparently has said that he will not engage in a second debate with Vice President Kamala Harris. Apparently he truthed it out or tweeted it out this morning, but he did reiterate on the campaign trail earlier today during his appearance in Arizona, I believe. Torchy, good evening.
President Trump announced that Tuesday's debate will be his last, and he will not take the stage against Vice President Harris again. Right now, Mr. Trump is speaking in Tucson, Arizona at a campaign rally, and he's expected to share more on his decision. Earlier today, he posted the news on his social platform, Truth Social, claiming he won the debate and there's no need to do it again.
So because we've done 2 debates and because they were successful, there will be no 3rd debate.
But it should be noted, before Tuesday's debate, Mr. Trump had agreed to take part in another one, which NBC would have moderated on September 25th. Vice President Harris was in North Carolina, where she held a campaign rally in Charlotte.
Nix was there with her.
Americans need to see them on stage at least one more time.
2 nights ago, Donald Trump and I had our first debate. And I believe we owe it to the voters to have another debate.
Vice President Harris is preparing for another event in Greensboro right now, while Mr. Trump will be heading to Las Vegas tomorrow to rally supporters in Nevada.
Well, we've still got a vice presidential debate to look forward to, and I hold out hope that we may get some sort of dueling town halls or something come October between the two of them. If not a full-on debate, maybe if Trump sees the polls and sees that he is down, that's if you are the loser, if you're behind, you kind of want a debate. You want that opportunity. Great. Good evening. I am going to rejoice. Everybody gets a titty slap because Drake is here.
A titty slap! What the?
Come on now.
Also, another reason to rejoice, I have your next great investment opportunity for you. Donald Trump launching a crypto.
Join me live on Twitter Spaces at 8 p.m. this September 16th for the launch of World Liberty Financial. We're embracing the future with crypto and leaving the slow and outdated big banks behind.
They even had to cut him off. Like, he totally said more. But after that was like something like they were unfair to me during the election, and like 2020 was stolen from me, and I never knew E. Jean Carroll. Like, it had nothing to do with crypto. That's why they had to cut him off.
For the launch of World Liberty Financial, we're embracing the future with crypto and leaving the slow and outdated big banks behind.
I'm amazed he actually hasn't launched a crypto yet. I think it was just poor quality video. Now listen. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the Vice President of the United States doesn't work at McDonald's. I didn't know that this had to be reiterated, but it does.
No, she made it up. She's a liar. She doesn't work at McDonald's. She said she worked at McDonald's, right? Right? She worked at McDonald's and she was working so hard. There's only one problem. She didn't work at McDonald's. She's a liar. Liar. No, she made it up. She's a liar. She doesn't work at McDonald's. She
doesn't work at McDonald's.
Right? Right? She worked at McDonald's. And
it would probably be impressive to him if she did work at McDonald's because he likes McDonald's. Egg random. I have no idea. I would assume that like she had a job at McDonald's for a few months in high school before she went to college or some shit. My brother worked at McDonald's for like 3 months. I think everybody about that age worked at fucking McDonald's. It was a rite of passage for the gotta log into my account. Wait, I was just reading this earlier. I made sure that there was no paywall. I don't know. I don't understand it. Taylor Swift used her VMA acceptance speech to drop her second political message in 24 hours. Taylor Swift dropped a political message in her acceptance speech for Video of the Year at the MTV VMAs. I don't know if I'm getting old, but like I knew none of the performers. I didn't care for the ones I watched. I realized as I was sitting there watching the entire playlist of performances from the VMAs, I'm like, wait a minute, I do New Music Monday now. Live Music Monday. So that's going to be Live Music Monday. We're going to watch all the performances from the VMAs. Well, she did not mention her Kamala Harris endorsement. She encouraged viewers to register to vote. The pop star went home with 7 awards, bringing her total to 30. Less than 24 hours after breaking her silence to endorse her support for Vice President Kamala Harris, Taylor Swift has spoken out about voting again at the end of her acceptance speech for winning Video of the Year for Fortnite. I didn't like that song. At the 2024 MTV Video Music Awards on Wednesday, Swift said, "The fact that this is a fan-voted award and you voted for this, I appreciate it so much. And if you are over 18, please register to vote for something else that's very important coming up, the 2024 presidential election. The comment came on the heels of an Instagram post on Tuesday in which she endorsed Harris and her running mate, Tim Walz of Minnesota. Her backing came shortly after the conclusion of the presidential debate between Harris and former President Donald Trump. They got swag. They got swag on the Harris website. Like a play off of the Eras tour. I thought it was cute. I, for one, welcome our new pop music overlord. Well, supposedly our new pop music overlord was supposed to be JoJo Siwa. She was the one that was in line to be our pop music overlord, but she kind of fell flat on her face, still not making the right decisions, failing to endorse Kamala Harris.
Taylor just endorsed.
Yes, I saw
and I wonder if you think that makes a difference. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah, I think,
you know,
absolutely. I mean, look, Taylor has the Swifties. The Swifties rule the world at this point. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that she is strong enough in her beliefs that she's brave enough to share them. Because I think that that's a scary thing. Obviously, it's not for everybody.
Well, to be fair, this is TMZ. This isn't the campaign. I don't think they're out there courting JoJo Siwa.
To do, and that's okay.
I'm sure they were recording Taylor Swift, though.
Music and perform and dance, and there are people in this world who are trained to give their opinions on politics, and
well, that's real. And
I'm not one of them.
And you know what? It's funny. I feel like more people. Like, you don't have to, you know what I'm saying? And there's you feel like there's a lot of pressure, you know, on every single person, like, in the entertainment.
For sure. I think it's very, we're in a world today now where giving your opinion, especially on politics, especially around this time every 4 years, is like, you must do, but...
Numbers? I don't know anything about numbers.
You take your 33 and a third chance, minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning.
She was a bad girl.
In reality, it's your life. You only get one of these things, and you must not do whatever you want. You know what I mean?
Hey, whatever feels right, sits right with your spirit, you got to do. Hey, thank you so much. Yeah.
Also, that was the coolest I've ever seen her be in an interview. She has never been cool. She always came across as a real tryhard. Good on, but she's young, so hey. That was JoJo Siwa. For those of us old people, she's like one of the most successful young YouTube artists. She was from like Dance Moms or something was the show she was on. She's more of a dancer, but she does sing. And she said she invented gay pop. Warlord, good evening. Trump is a true leftist for work. That's why the union is so anti-Trump and endorsed Kamala Harris. Let's talk about somebody with a strong union. Let's talk about the NYPD. NYPD Commissioner Edward Cabin resigns in the midst of a huge scandal.
Edward Caban says he stepped down because new investigations were a distraction to the NYPD. The mayor, who for days had been dodging questions about Caban's future, today accepted his resignation.
Oh my God! Speaking of which, I'm sorry to stop this story because this is an important story and we don't have a lot of time. But Curiouser was here the other day. And she told me that she didn't know George Michael was gay until the bathroom incident. And I'm like, you didn't know he was gay? Wake me up before you go. That wasn't a giveaway. You didn't know he was gay. And she's like, oh, yeah, well, wham, yeah, I guess I should have known. They did. Okay, so if you guys are unfamiliar about this time period, George Michael didn't come out of the closet until after he was caught in a bathroom soliciting a cop for sex. he was made, I don't think he ever denied that he was gay or anything, but they didn't mention it, and they put supermodels around him and, tried to make him like a real sex symbol for the women. But he was super gay. So I could see in the early 90s, if you're a teenage girl, you might not have known that George Michael was gay. But the whole Wham thing. Soup! Good evening. Yes, it was a sting operation. Yeah. I mean, I do not think any different about George Michael because of the incident. It was entrapment. I think I said a bathroom. It was like a public park or something. Well, I mean, a lot of the dudes on MTV, you've got like Culture Club. You've got people that I'm pretty certain that, are fluid in their sexuality, like Mick Jagger, David Bowie. Prince. All over in MTV. Okay. We've got 40 minutes until we get to Arizona's 5th Congressional District. Dustin, good evening. Soup. Somebody shout out Soup. So we gotta get through this fucking news real fast. So NYPD Commissioner Edward Cabin has resigned. This is amid the scandal. We had several people involved with the mayor's office were raided by the FBI. The commissioner has been under investigation, had to turn over his phone, has now resigned as of today.
Edward Cabin says he stepped down because news of the investigations were a distraction to the NYPD. The mayor, who for days had been dodging questions about Cabin's future, today accepted his resignation.
So who will replace Cabin? Mayor Adams chose to go outside of the department and name...
Is Adams going to last the full term? I don't know that he will. He is under mounting pressure.
The former director of Homeland Security for New York, Tom Donilon, as interim commissioner. Donilon has a lengthy resume in law enforcement, including counterterrorism in the FBI.
We have two reports on this big story tonight. Darla Miles with more on the new commissioner, but we're going to begin with Jim Dolan in Lower Manhattan and the resignation of the commissioner. Jim.
Bill Edward Cabin resigned today under a cloud of suspicion, but not a single actual accusation of wrongdoing. And in fact, he denies doing anything illegal, even though his phone was seized by the FBI last week. That left the commissioner trying to lead one law enforcement agency while being investigated by another.
In the end, guilt and innocence were beside the point. Edward Cabin, the first Latino to ever serve as the city's police commissioner, had to go.
This is breaking news.
Accepted.
This happened earlier this afternoon. So this is indeed breaking news. We do have a new police commissioner. Oh, they named him.
Of the NYPD Commissioner, Edward Cabin. He concluded that this is the best decision at this time. I respect his decision and I wish him well.
After 30 years with the NYPD, Edward Cabin was appointed to run it in July 2023. But he served just 14 months in that office, much of it under a swirl of controversy and allegations of corruption within a small circle that included his brother and a federal investigation that led last week to Cabin's phone being seized by federal authorities.
There's a shroud around so many folks at top levels. It's really hard to move forward pretending that's not the case. And so the mayor has to still and had to do something, and maybe this is a step to help restore trust.
My hope is that with the commissioner choosing to tender his resignation, that does alleviate a little bit of the pressure and stress.
Cabin issued a statement today saying, "I believe firmly in the vital role of leaders with integrity who, by example, demonstrate the difference between right and wrong every day. I will continue to cooperate fully with the ongoing investigation." His lawyers issued a statement saying, "Mr. Cabin unequivocally denies any wrongdoing. We have been informed by the government that he is not a target of any investigation being conducted by the Southern District of New York." The mayor appointed an interim commissioner from outside the department, Tom Donlin, who has served in law enforcement at many levels around the world and lauded the work of Edward Caban.
Commissioner Caban dedicated his life to making our city safer, and we saw a drop in crime for 13 of the 14 months he served as commissioner.
Edward Caban worked with the NYPD for 35 years. He started out walking a foot.
Has to be corrupt.
He worked his way up to run the department. His resignation becomes effective tomorrow.
Has to be corrupt if he was in the NYPD for 35 fucking years. Speaking of corruption by the NYPD, here is a boon. Here is a bar owner alleging a shakedown by the NYPD.
Corruption investigation into City Hall and the NYPD now includes allegations of a shakedown. A Brooklyn bar owner says he was told that his problems with the NYPD would go away if he paid the police commissioner's brother. And he says it was a worker in the mayor's office who tried to help arrange that deal.
Yep.
Chief investigative reporter Jonathan Dienst joins us now with details.
Chuck, the bar owner had his permits, his liquor license, and his share of noise complaints. But what he says he
noise complaints
break from tough NYPD enforcement. Seeking help, he says he was introduced to a mayoral staffer and then to the twin brother of the NYPD's top cop. And then he says he was asked for thousands in payments.
I felt like it was like I got an ultimatum. Like, it's either you get with this or you're gonna get shut down. We're gonna make sure you get shut down.
Shamel Kelly says it was this man, mayoral staffer Ray Martin, who first told him he could pay the police commissioner's brother to help get better treatment from the NYPD.
He just said that he was.
That's mobster shit.
He know people, and he dropped the Mr. Eddie Caban name because he's I guess the NYPD commissioner. Having problems with the NYPD.
Later, Kelly says the police commissioner's brother James Caban told him he could help with his NYPD problems if he paid him $2,500 up front. The state liquor authority says Kelly's bar was not facing any charges of wrongdoing, but there were dozens of noise complaints to 311 about loud music. Kelly says he felt too many cops from the 6-0 precinct kept showing up, hurting his relatively new business, the Juice and More Bar, along Mermaid Avenue. And he says his pleas for help from the NYPD and local community board were unsuccessful. Kelly said he never expected that Ray Martin from the mayor's office would give him this advice.
He went on about how he thinks that I should just close the bar. And if I don't close the bar, there's only one way to get the police to stop doing what they're doing, and that's to speak to one of his friends, which was the James Caban guy.
James Caban, an ex-cop, is the twin brother of NYPD Commissioner Eddie Caban. Kelly showed us phone records and text messages from August 2023, where Martin from the mayor's office allegedly encouraged Kelly to contact James Caban. Hey, Shamel, reminder to call James. Kelly says these phone records and texts show he and the commissioner's brother discussed the issues surrounding his business, a business which was a juice bar by day and licensed to serve alcohol on weekend nights. James Caban allegedly wrote, spoke to the commanding officer, and the biggest complaint from the community board is that you're registered as a juice bar, and now you're doing parties there. Lots of noise complaints.
If you have a license to serve alcohol, it shouldn't matter. And I also explained to him that the community board knew that it was the summertime, so he knew we were going to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday night events.
Records suggest Kelly and Caban also spoke by phone. And that's when Kelly says James Caban asked him for the initial $2,500.
He said that he will mediate my issues with NYPD. He could bring them to me, have a meeting, resolve.
What I want to know is how we were watching the other NYC news channel, and they said that there was a cloud of I don't even remember the phrase they used, but no allegations. And then we turn to a separate news channel. We have very detailed allegations with phone records. Weird. Very weird.
And I also explained to him that the community board knew that it was the summertime, so he knew we were going to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday night events.
Records suggest Kelly and Caban also spoke by phone. And that's when Kelly says James Caban asked him for the initial $2,500.
He said that he will mediate my issues with NYPD. He could bring them to me, have a meeting, resolve our issues, is what he specifically said he could do. After he said I had to pay him for it, I felt like it was him trying to extort me. So I just was like, you know what? No, I'm good. I'll just deal with it how I deal with it, and it got worse.
Kelly says the Ray Martin and James Caban connection bothered him.
I assumed that you would be like, oh, okay, yeah, let's call a meeting. Let's figure out what this problem is. I'm not expecting for you to be like, oh, you got to pay me some money if you want this problem to go away. Nah, that doesn't.
The mob.
Martin did not return requests for comment. James Caban's attorneys issued this statement. Mr. Caban unequivocally denies any wrongdoing. His work as a consultant and acting as a liaison between the department and a private company is perfectly legal, especially given his previous career as an NYPD officer. Our client has fully cooperated with law enforcement, and once their investigation is complete, it will be clear that these claims are unfounded and lack merit. Former NYPD Chief of Department and NBC New York consultant Terry Monahan.
Everything we heard from the bar owner, if those allegations are true, it's at minimal unethical and possibly criminal in the way that they were dealing with the bar owner.
Minimal unethical.
Really like hurt, disappointed, stressed, depressed.
Kelly is not just making the allegations now. He posted his concerns on social media back in February, but at the time, few noticed. As for Juice and More, Kelly closed it down in February.
I don't think it was just me. I think that's probably a thing that's going on in New York City specifically, to be honest.
Especially black-run businesses, I bet.
Today issued this statement. We appreciate WNBC for bringing this information to our attention yesterday afternoon. After receiving this inquiry, we immediately began an internal review and found that Mr. Martin violated the terms of his employment. Mr. Martin was terminated for cause yesterday. We expect all city employees to act ethically and in the public interest. That staffer, Martin, now fired, and again, he has not returned requests for comment. We just spoke with the bar owner again, and he tells us the feds and DOI investigators are with him, interviewing him this afternoon.
Good.
In connection with the ongoing corruption investigations into City Hall and the NYPD.
So the other NYC news station didn't mention that a staffer with the mayor's office was fired. But there's no allegations. What? Prometheus, good evening. You want to say it's next door? Well, I mean, I was just assuming they've got some sort of connection with the mayor's office. But it could be a next door. It could be a Sinclair. I mean, there's any number of reasons. We are about 27 minutes away from the Arizona 5th Congressional District debate. I'm going to go ahead and hit the content warning. Our next few stories are pretty graphic. Especially this next one. Man was outside of the Israeli consulate last night. And for the third time since the assault on Gaza started, someone has self-immolated here in this country.
Back Bay disrupted overnight by an alarming situation. I'm Jeff Saperstone in for LaToya.
And I'm Raul Martinez. Boston police confirm a man was on fire outside of a luxury hotel. And we do have surveillance video you're only going to see right here on NBC 10 Boston.
Let's get right to NBC 10's Minash Krongwari. He is live in Boston with what happened. Minash.
Well, we know that the man sustained major burns, and it's to our understanding that he's being treated in the hospital this morning after being...
Terry, good evening.
...last night, but I can tell you this incident happened really outside in this vicinity.
This is not the Gary Lake debate. That is the Arizona Senate debate. This is the 5th Congressional District debate tonight between far-right nutjob Andy Biggs and Democratic challenger Katrina Schaefer. A congressional debate. Andy Biggs, the Republican incumbent, and Democratic challenger Katrina Schaefer. The Kerry Lake Ruben Gallego, I believe that is October 10th, but I don't have my sheet in front of me. But that is one that we are very much looking forward to.
Just outside of the Four Seasons and right across the street from the Israeli consulate. This is exclusive video we were able to grab from a nearby business. It shows the man at around 8:15 p.m. pacing in front of the building before going behind a tree. Now, we've decided to pause it because what happens next is graphic. A short time later, a bystander seen helping put out the fire. We spoke to a woman who claims to be that bystander's girlfriend. She tells us her boyfriend used a backpack to put out the flames and shared these pictures with us. Now, because this is an ongoing investigation, police could not confirm whether the man set himself on fire. The second that we confirm the how and why this happened, we'll be sure to keep you guys updated. But for right now, we're live here in Boston. Manoj Kungwari, NBC 10 Boston.
Yeah, that's we need to get an update on that. Been confirmed that it was indeed a self-immolation in protest. I don't know what Press TV is. Not a source that I am. Not a lot of people are covering that. Man sets himself on fire outside of Israeli consulate in Boston. Surveillance video shows a man setting himself on fire outside the Israeli consulate in the U.S. city of Boston. They didn't even mention that in the local news hit, did they? Purportedly in protest of the regime's genocidal war against the Palestinian people in Gaza. The reported self-immolation in downtown Boston is already being depoliticized and erased. It was outside of the Zionist consulate, which is across from the Four Seasons Hotel. This is what our ruling class has decided will be normal, said Aaron Bushnell before his martyrdom. C10 Boston reported that Smokey, god damn it. I'm serious. No, nobody. You are a problem. It is you can't do it anymore. It is all goddamn day. Me and this cat gonna fight. Oh my god. It's not just that he claws me. He bumps into the microphone. He's like, he'll like just pop right up, and he does all kinds of shit that just like gets in my way. He'll smack the keyboard and shit. It's a whole thing. I love this cat so much. When I go over to the couch and lay down, does he cuddle with me? No, he doesn't. He snubs me. I got up to go to the bathroom yesterday morning. I'm coming back in. I give him some food. Smokey gets down and is going to get him some food. I reach down to like pet his head as he walks by. Goes the long way around me so I can't fucking touch him. And I'm like, God damn it, buddy. But yet when I'm working, when I'm doing the show, it's in my lap constantly. Want to be getting cat hair up in my face, in my mouth. I am totally an ingrate. I love this cat so much, but he is a nuisance. He is an absolute nuisance. I can't take it. I am telling you that my kneecap is like hamburger meat. And God damn it, Smokey, stop it. I don't want to have to start locking him up. I'll put him in there in the bedroom with a food bowl and some water. He's a total cutie. He's a sweet. I love this cat so much. But boy, is he an asshole. Ox, Maynard, they're just over there being good. They're fine. They don't ever get up here, get my business, knock shit over. I'm not high enough for this shit. But Smokey is dumb. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there. I don't know if I've ever told you guys that, but Smokey is dumb. He is not a smart cat. I hate to say he's sweet, but he is not smart. He is not a smart cat. Socks, on the other hand, one of the smartest cats I've ever had. Maynard's smart, but he's like conniving. He's smart in a way that's like, how can I fuck with you? And it's insane. Anyway, we got news to do. I keep saying we got to get through it real fast. We're less than 20 minutes away from the Arizona 5th Congressional District debate. Just another day. If you're good during the debate, you get a car chase. I've already got one planned.
Ending an hours-long standoff in Broomfield.
It started around 6:30 this morning for a report of a disturbance. Over the next 4 hours, there were multiple shots fired and a woman was taken hostage and hurt. We have team coverage of the investigation and reaction from people in the area.
Taken hostage.
Right with 9 News Investigates reporter Jeremy Hahola. Jeremy.
Yeah, home was a very scary place for a lot of people in this large, dense apartment complex here. Let's go ahead and zoom in so we can show you where this violence erupted this morning. You can see one of 3 armored SWAT vehicles, and just up to the left on that, right on the second floor of that apartment building there, right at that balcony, is the suspect's apartment. People here describe hearing dozens of gunshots between the suspect and police this morning. This all began when police got a call.
And he's alive?
Inside that apartment. When they arrived at the man's door, they could hear him yelling inside. They say he was yelling threats. They also heard a woman inside who was described as a hostage. Suddenly, he began shooting not only at police, but randomly outside at buildings and at vehicles. He hit windows and cars. Police characterized this as an active shooter, and then things evolved into a barricaded man with a hostage. Police initially tried to talk the guy out of his apartment with the crisis response team. Talking to the guy did not work. So then after about 3 hours, they broke down his door, threw in some flashbangs, and eventually they got the guy into custody and found one hostage inside.
Yes, he did fire, and it did hit vehicles, other buildings, and other units. So this is going to be an active crime scene for a while because we have to process where those gunshots went, look for any of those shell casings, determine everything that may have happened.
And so far, police have not released the suspect's name. In the meantime, this really impacting a lot of people, disrupting the day for a lot of people who can't get inside their apartments. For more on that, let's go to my colleague, Ria Jha, with that.
Right, Jeremy, this crime scene is very much taped off. Police still haven't let people back in. There are crime scene evidence markers everywhere. I just want to walk over here just to show you how far these bullets went. So the apartment—
What is that outfit?
over there, meaning it crossed the parking lot, crossed the sidewalk. There's an evidence marker right down here and a bullet imprint in this car over here.
Lord, good evening.
Like Ben Bostrom say they usually feel safe.
I feel like that's something that Jim Carrey's Riddler would have wore, like at the end when he got all dressed up. He hadn't wore the sparkly one with all the question marks.
Living at Arista Apartments.
I think it's very out of character for the area. This is normally very, very quiet and safe, in my estimation. So you never know who you're living next to.
Next door to me, I heard some loud banging this morning about almost 7 a.m. And I heard some screaming and some yelling.
I woke up to gunshots.
Police got reports of a disturbance around 6:30 a.m. 8 a.m. is when neighbors say they heard the first round of 10 to 15 gunshots.
This is my bedroom window.
Heather Talent lives in the building across from the crime scene. She was walking her dog back into her apartment during this first round.
I could see straight into the guy's apartment. Thank you. And I was walking my dog, and a lady came up to me and she was like, "Hey, do you know what's going on?" And that's when a gunshot flew over my head into my bedroom window.
Yo, us dog.
I ducked, and I've never screamed that loud in my life.
There are bullet holes in the building across the way. There are cars with holes in them.
SWAT officials started getting people out of the nearby buildings around 9.
They came beating on doors frantically, said, "We're evacuating your building, you need to go." I said, "Can I put on some pants?"
Hours after police had the suspect in custody, the area surrounding more than 4 apartment buildings were taped off.
I think there are about maybe 30 people here and a handful of cats and dogs, and they were busing people over in shuttles over to the community center.
With no access to their cars, many residents had no choice but to go to the evacuation center set up by police.
It's very scary.
Police still haven't said anything about when the people living in these buildings are going to be allowed to come back. Right now, the temporary evacuation area is set up at the Broomfield Community Center for people that might be coming back from work or school or wherever that might be. Reporting live in Broomfield, Ria Jha, 9 News.
And we see the crime scene tape and all those police officers still out there even all this time after everything ended. Ria, thank you.
Yeah.
Was that Patton Oswalt's little brother or something? What the hell? Even talked like him. Minty. Oh, I'm sorry, it's only 3 people. Depending on which source you use, 3 people is not a mass shooting. Some say 3, some say 4. 3 people shot in Dallas.
Dallas police are looking for the suspect who shot 3 people at an apartment building in downtown Dallas at noon today. It happened near the intersection of Commerce Street and South St. Paul.
What's with these apartment building standoffs?
Priest joins us right now. Brittany, what have you learned?
Well, Commerce Street is back open after that shooting, injuring 3 people, including a 16-year-old. Now, earlier when we arrived here this afternoon, residents at the Continental, this apartment building in downtown Dallas, were being evacuated. Some were being told to stay in their units.
Wasn't the Continental that skit with Christopher Walken on SNL? The Continental.
And since then, residents have been allowed back inside the building where this shooting happened. But here's how this all unfolded. WFAA sources tell us that this all started with an argument that escalated into a shootout. Residents say they heard over a dozen shots fired, and sources tell us that 2 adults,
I think you're right, Flash,
were shot, but all are expected to live. We're told that 16-year-old is a student at Conrad High School and was skipping school at the time of the shooting. Now, one victim did
never skip school again.
Elevator, which is now closed off as part of the investigation. We spoke with a healthcare worker who was visiting a patient in this building, and she says that as she arrived for work.
Can you imagine being a school-aged child in the U.S. and you stayed home from school and got shot? I skipped school. How I get shot today?
She saw a man with blood on him running out the building. That's when she went inside to see if she could help anyone else who might have been injured.
When I went to the elevators, I saw a lot of blood. So I was trying to trace the blood and see if everything was okay and if anybody was hurt. And so, because we got ambulance. And I was waiting, I stayed here and waited until the ambulance got here.
I like her.
And WFAA sources tell us
Cruel, what's going on, my friend?
that right now they are still looking for the suspect involved in this shooting. Police have not given any information at this time about that suspect. But again, residents have been allowed back inside the building, and this is still an...
Motherfuckers over in Colorado are like, we're still waiting to get back in our building. What the hell? 3 people shot in Dallas. Suspect still on the loose as of like an hour ago. Suspect that has been captured is the one in New Hampshire. A 15-hour standoff coming to an end.
And is in custody after a nearly 15-hour standoff with police in Cheshire County, New Hampshire. The Swansea town administrator says police were called around 10 o'clock last night for a reported disturbance on South Road. A neighbor was concerned about a man's behavior.
Flash is totally a fed.
Were confronted by 36-year-old Ian McNeil. He was allegedly holding a pistol and pointed it at an officer. That started a standoff. At 1 o'clock this afternoon, a state police canine was able to get McNeil, who was taken into custody. He's been charged with a felony count of criminal threatening with a deadly weapon and a misdemeanor charge of resisting arrest.
That's all? So he didn't even actually have any underlying charge. The only thing he's being charged with is for the standoff. Davy, good evening. Holy shit. About 10 minutes away from the Arizona 5th Congressional District debate. Sacrificial MILF got here just in time. Got a couple more videos to show you. We'll do the rest of these after the debate. This one is out of South Carolina. Buckle up for this one. This is another one of those wild videos that you're only going to see here on the Troll Patrol. I say only going to see here on the Troll Patrol. Like it's fucking like 50 news stations didn't have this shit.
A train plows into a tractor trailer carrying an armored vehicle in South Carolina. Take a look here. It's at the bottom corner of your screen. Right there, but you saw it and heard it, right? The powerful impact happened in Goose Creek as the tractor trailer was crossing the tracks before it was left helpless as that train barreled forward. Seconds later, that train you saw smashed into the trailer, sent a lot of debris flying, and the collision forced both roads to close temporarily. So far, no injuries, fortunately, have been reported. That just shows you.
That was such a tepid no.
Corner of your screen.
Jane.
There's more to the right there, but you saw it and heard it, right? The powerful impact happened in Goose Creek as the tractor trailer was crossing the tracks before it was left helpless as that train barreled forward. Seconds later, that train you saw smashed into the trailer, sent a lot of debris flying, and the collision forced both roads to close temporarily. So far, no injuries, fortunately, have been.
I feel like the tank still looked pretty solid. It was mainly the semi that got crushed, right? Am I seeing that correctly?
Before
the tank looks like it held up pretty well. God damn it.
There's more to the right there, but you saw it and heard it, right? The power.
Yeah, it's pretty intact.
Happened in Goose Creek as the tractor trailer was crossing the tracks.
Hit a tank with my train.
As that train barreled forward. Seconds later, that train you saw smashed into the trailer, sent a lot of debris flying, and the collision forced both roads to close temporarily. So far, no injuries, fortunately, have been reported. That just shows you the power of a freight train. My goodness.
You can see that. Glad nobody was hurt in that.
Definitely.
Amazing nobody was hurt. Amazing no one was hurt in this wild footage coming out of California. A lot of seismic activity going on out on the West Coast. This happened live on air on ABC 7.
Welcome back. Cinnamon is a fall favorite and popular spice in most. Oh, we got an earthquake. We certainly do. We got an earthquake right now. Leslie, we get you prepared to talk about this. We're shaking pretty good. 3 or 4, I'd guess was that magnitude. She's looking up at the ceiling. So we're going to hold on this. I'm going to pull up some social media here to see, because pretty quickly we get a report on the size of this thing.
They're fracking over there.
What do you think? I did not get any alert on my phone. Did you? Our producer did get an alert to her phone.
Oh, she did. You know what?
Yeah.
I was on my phone that whole time and I did not get the alert.
5.0 in Malibu. See, that information comes so quickly, which is amazing. Already hearing that this was a 5.0
wow, it's a big
in
one.
Malibu. Yeah, so we are in Glendale and working to get information here.
Fascinating. That was a big one.
This is fascinating.
Felt it, Leslie, even just a moment before me as my camera and the lights above us began to shake. And we got a lot of them here in studio.
Right.
Any additional moment, we were probably going to have to move and get under a desk or something.
I'm trying to get on the USGS website right now to get the latest information. Here we go. 5.1 out of the Malibu area.
There's 11 million illegal immigrants jumping up and down at the same time.
The particular earthquake we felt. So again, how many miles away are we from Malibu? About 20 to 30, would you say, Mark?
We'll let Trump buy Greenland.
Felt it all the way over here in Glendale, Burbank. So even the foothill communities are dealing with that. You know, when we talk about these earthquakes, people that are right near the epicenter sometimes don't feel them as strong. And as it fans out and moves out, we can feel it a lot stronger. So as we were getting reports, we want to know what areas felt it the strongest and how far away it was felt. So please feel free to tweet us, give us any information out there on social media. We'd love to hear from you. I know that was quite a shake, and we're in a big...
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit the commercial break for everybody on Twitch so that we get it out of the way before the debate gets started. If you are getting the commercial, you're going to miss out on us talking about Louisiana being out of power.
Churning through Mississippi after hitting the Gulf of Mexico about 24 hours ago as a Category 2 hurricane. You can see the center of the storm right now about 90 miles south of Memphis, Tennessee. We actually just got that 5 o'clock advisory in, so it has moved north just a bit and continued to weaken. Right now those winds at 25 miles per hour, but even though the storm is far away from where it made landfall by this point, hundreds of thousands of Louisiana customers are still without power, and in many areas residents are waiting for flood waters to recede in order to survey the damage. Dave Malkoff reports from Houma, Louisiana.
The rain fell and sparks flew, with a transformer reportedly exploding in Metairie, Louisiana.
It's very, very windy.
Francine made landfall in the state as a Category 2 hurricane, weakening to a tropical storm as it reached New Orleans. The Flood Protection Authority says they closed 52 floodgates to protect against possible storm surges. But the streets in Terrebonne Parish look like an ocean. The storm downed trees and street signs. More than 300,000 Louisiana customers are without power. First responders and crews tried to clear what they could, even among the blowing winds.
The roof was just torn apart. You can see how it's just kind of peeled back like an old-fashioned sardine can.
This thrift store in Houma is gone.
It's very serious for this neighborhood because it's maybe the most affordable place for anybody in this neighborhood to shop.
The director of the National Hurricane Center told CBS News many deaths occur after a hurricane has passed because people are going out into flooded areas, getting too close to power lines, and using generators in an unsafe way. Louisiana's governor told everyone to just watch it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Going to have a lot of people on the roadway that is necessary to put the vital infrastructure back in place so that you can go about your daily lives.
The remnants of Francine are spinning northwards through Mississippi, Tennessee, and Arkansas, with tornado threats as far east as Florida. Dry areas are in danger of getting too much rain too quickly. Dave Malkoff, CBS News, Houma, Louisiana.
Oh shit, it's gonna hit me hard tomorrow, isn't it? Cicero, good evening. One more story before we get to the debate. I gotta do this one. Fuck, it's too long. It's too long to do. I gotta save it for the other side. We'll save it for the other side of the debate, which is coming up here in about 1 minute. We are watching the Arizona 5th Congressional debate between Republican incumbent Andy Biggs and his Democratic challenger Katrina Schaffner. This is our first debate. This is our first non-presidential debate of this season. As you guys know, I love doing live debate coverage. We're going to do all of the Senate races that have debates. Some senators have declined, like Nebraska's Pete Ricketts has declined to debate Preston Love. John Barrasso in Wyoming has declined to debate his Democratic challenger, Scott Morrow. So, unfortunately, we will not be having those debates. Several debates have not been scheduled yet, but I'm staying on top of those. Some of the ones that haven't been scheduled that I'm most looking forward to are Jim Justice in West Virginia debating Democrat Glenn Elliott. I'm very much looking forward to that, even though Justice is almost certainly going to win. Colin Allred against Ted Cruz. Sherrod Brown and Bernie Moreno in Ohio. That is going to be a barn burner of a race to watch. That is going to be a hell of a debate to watch, as Bernie Moreno is a fucking nut job. One of the closest races is going to be John Tester taking on Tim Sheehy in Montana. They've already had a debate. They had a debate back in June, and I missed it. And I apologize for that. Here we go.
The Elections Commission, Bitfire, and the Arizona Media Association, we are working to make sure all 2024 debates are the most accessible in Arizona history. That means this conversation will air on a long list of local TV stations, radio stations, and digital platforms.
And the Troll Patrol Live.
From local newspapers. Transparency is critical here, and that's why this conversation has been designed with input from a broad group.
And remember, I always try to lay out as much as possible during debates. So,
communities. Thank you to voters across Arizona who have submitted questions. We've reviewed all of them to make sure every voice is heard. However, no candidate has been given advanced access to any of the questions. So with that, let's
go ahead, light one up, tip one back. Let's get to it.
Katrina Schaffner. Ms. Schaffner, welcome and thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you.
I'd like to start by giving you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the voters with your opening statement. You have 2 minutes.
Hello, my name is Katrina Schaffner, and I'm running for Congress to challenge a system that benefits the top and has left the rest of us behind. It's past time to hold billionaires and their price gouging corporations accountable.
Blogger already.
Trades. I've worked in corporate, and I've been a political activist my entire adult life. Andy Biggs is a wealthy man who serves even wealthier men. And I believe it's time to stop.
She's got tats up and down her arms, too.
And start governing.
When I Googled her, I was like, oh, she looks cool.
Now, Ms. Schaffner, your district covers eastern Maricopa County and parts of northern Pinal County. You mentioned your opponent. He has been in Arizona government for about 20 years. He has held this seat in particular since he was first elected in 2016. What have you seen or heard as you've connected with voters in this district that shows you they're ready for a change?
Yes. A lot of voters are tired of the traditional way of politics. And our campaign is powered by people who want to see a change in our political system. And what we're seeing and hearing on the ground is that folks feel like government is not working for them. And this economy is not working for everybody. And they want someone who's actually going to be better representation. They want to know why someone like Andy Biggs, who's supposed to represent them, is part of the criminal conspiracy to overturn our elections. Why was he at an Oath Keepers event where they were calling to hang then Senator John McCain? As constituents, they deserve answers, and they're ready for someone who is willing to get into Congress and work for everyday families.
You did touch on the economy a bit there, so let's start with that top issue. Right now, so many Arizonans are struggling. At one point, Phoenix had the highest rate of inflation in the nation. It has since come down, but what are your plans, some concrete steps to help bring some of those rising costs down so that the average consumer can get some relief?
Yeah, I know what that's like. We have seen prices go up, and wages have not increased with inflation. And families are struggling. Everyday families are finding it harder and harder to make ends meet, to go to the grocery store. I know what that's like, to sit up at night wondering how you're going to pay the rent, to skip meals so you can feed your children. People are having a really hard time because, like I said, this economy doesn't work for everybody. And we have someone like Andy Biggs representing us, who is passing massive tax breaks for the wealthy at the top, skyrocketing our national debt. We need working representation, someone who is going to fight for everyday families and put working people and families first, not someone who is out there fighting for more tax break for the richest people in this country. And so when I get to Congress, I am going to prioritize everyday people, everyday families, and making sure that we are holding corporations accountable so that they are paying their fair share.
Yeah, that's my vote.
Now, the Congressional Budget Office is projecting a federal budget deficit of $1.9 trillion for fiscal year 2024. Your opponent has actually said that reining in government spending and fiscal responsibility.
Is Biggs not even there?
What's your take on the federal budget, and how should those dollars then be managed and spent?
Yeah, he would say that when he's passing tax breaks that are skyrocketing the debt. What we need to do is hold corporations accountable so we can invest in small businesses, working people, and families. There are a lot of different ways that we can do this, but my opponent continues to vote against tax breaks for everyday people. He voted against small businesses during the pandemic. And when a small business starts to struggle, it is harder to get back on their feet.
Oh yeah, he didn't agree to it.
To make sure that we're taking those investments and putting it into smaller businesses, putting it into local economies so that everybody can feel like they have some financial security. And right now, people are not feeling that. We want to make sure that those resources are actually going down to everyday people and that you're actually feeling it in your everyday life.
And of course, housing is a big part of this as well. You've been very open about your passion for that issue. A recent poll by the Center for the Future of Arizona shows that 78% of all likely voters do want to increase affordable housing in their community. How do you...
Yeah, I just noticed they changed the story today.
Especially right now when prices and interest rates are so high.
Yeah, a lot of people, especially younger generations, they don't...
Biggs did not show up.
...can dream anymore. They can't start their families. They can't buy their homes. The interest rates are skyrocketing. And again, Andy Biggs continues to vote for tax breaks for the top. This is why working representation is so important, because we need someone who understands that we need to build more competition in this economy to bring those prices down. And that's just one big piece of the puzzle. We have a lot of work to do, but we need to be supporting small builders. And again, ensuring that that is coming to our local economy and that federal funding is going to people who need it the most. Everyday families, working people who just cannot get by and are living paycheck to paycheck. That's what we need in Congress, because we need someone who understands how federal government is impacting our day-to-day lives. That includes housing, because our senior citizens are also struggling with affordable housing, and they are getting left behind.
This is a lean Republican seat.
So we
it's
need
a close
someone who's
district
ready to tackle those corporations and ensure that we are building that competition, that we are giving breaks to people who cannot get on their feet.
Well, in this district in particular, I mean, the East Valley has seen such a boom in apartment buildings and rentals. President Biden this summer proposed a national rent cap of no more than 5% per year. There are new laws in Oregon and California enacting rent control.
You know, Warlord, I hadn't even noticed.
And if so, how would you work to pass something like that through when it's known historically to be one of the most divisive issues among lawmakers when it comes to housing policy?
Yes, we've had rent control in the past, and it was proven very effective. So that is absolutely something that we can look at to help bring those prices down. I think the bigger issue here, though, is that we have a small percentage of corporations and large builders who are driving the market, and we need to get a handle on that. Otherwise, anything else that we do isn't really going to impact everybody in a significant way. So we need to tackle the bigger issues so that people actually feel it in their wallets every month when they're going to pay the bills.
And you mentioned some of those builders. The process to build affordable housing is complicated. It can be lengthy. It can be expensive. As someone who would be advocating for federal funds, what, in your opinion, can be done to help streamline that process?
Yes, this goes back to ensuring that we are supporting small builders, because small builders are what's going to build that competition. Right now, these corporations and these largest builders are controlling the market by controlling how fast the houses are being built, what the prices are, how quickly the material is coming in to use that, and how quickly they are going up. And so they are able to manipulate the market, driving all the other smaller builders out of business. So this just really goes back to the overall perspective of our economy and who do we want to support? How do we want to strengthen our economy? And for me, it's building our economy from the ground up to build that strong foundation and supporting those smaller businesses, and in this case, small builders.
You mentioned small businesses. You also mentioned seniors just a moment ago, so I want to circle back to that. Social Security and Medicare are often
the fact that this was run by clean elections is probably the reason Andy Biggs didn't show up.
Disabilities funds are set to
fundamentally opposed to that idea.
If Congress doesn't take action. You have said that you support expanding and protecting both programs, but what sorts of concrete steps would you take to make that happen?
So yeah, our senior citizens are struggling. We're seeing Medicare is still expensive, Social Security is just not enough, and we have folks like Andy Biggs who are trying to make cuts to Social Security. These MAGA Republicans in Congress do not care about people who have paid into Social Security for a lifetime so that they can retire with dignity. We need to expand Medicare to cover hearing, dental, vision. These are just basic needs that people need as they get older, and they have a right to retire with dignity.
You blocked Warlord?
Because right now we're seeing seniors,
I don't think you're allowed to do that,
struggling to stay in their homes. And we can lift the cap on Social Security so that everyone is paying their fair share. And when we work a lifetime, again, we can retire and retire with dignity.
DJ Dub, there's only one thing I can say about it.
Of course, one of the other big issues, not
He's
just here
kicking
in
authority
Arizona,
in the balls.
but across the country as well. How would you characterize the current situation at the border, and what, if anything, would you do differently?
I remember in 2019, we saw those images of a father crossing the Rio Grande with his toddler daughter. And they were found face first in shallow water with the little girl holding on to his back. I just think and imagine what they must have been going through, that he was willing to risk everything for his daughter because they had no other choice in the matter. We have challenges at the border that we have to address. And unfortunately, this has turned into a political playbook for politicians.
Burgatoris, this was supposed to be the 5th Congressional District debate in Arizona, but Andy Biggs did not show up.
With MAGA Republicans in the House who killed the bipartisan border bill.
Warlord isn't one of the good ones. He's a Tory.
Didn't have a win.
He's not even part of our politics.
Absolutely have to pass the funding in this bill.
I'm not lying that you're a Tory. That's true.
Border Patrol and helps provide the resources that they need the funding that they need, and the technology that they need to do their jobs properly. It tackles the fentanyl crisis, which hurts everyone from every background and every socioeconomic status. And we cannot continue to let a very good bill sit there so that MAGA Republicans can play political games. And this is a perfect example of why we need someone who's ready to stop playing politics and ready to start governing.
Now, some Republicans might argue that immigration was.
This is Katrina Schaefer, the Democratic challenger for Andy Biggs' seat.
So do you think something could have or should have been done sooner than that?
I think that we have seen funding go to the border and could have been done sooner. The challenge is that we need bipartisan support. We need people willing to work together.
Well, Andy Biggs has been like indicted in the election shit.
What we're seeing,
Like, he's
Andy Biggs, for example,
pretty shitty.
He won't even work within his own party to get legislation passed, let alone across the aisle.
I'm sorry, subpoenaed. He wasn't indicted
We
yet.
absolutely can do more if we're willing to put politics aside and support people who need it. That includes funding this border crisis.
And
he was one of the
have said that
main Republicans behind January 6th.
They want to see working across the aisle. You mentioned the current political climate. It's heated, it's divisive. How do you plan to work across the aisle and work alongside lawmakers who maybe don't share your viewpoint?
So as a political activist, I've been doing this for a long time. And I think it starts with having an open mind, holding ourselves accountable, and being able to listen to all perspectives. Too many people in Congress right now are sitting there with yes men surrounding them. They're not willing to bring everyone to the table to have real debates, real discussion, as we've seen here tonight, since I'm the only one here. So it is really important when we are voting.
But she's too liberal for you, DJ Dub.
Who genuinely
She's involved in electoral politics.
Issues and want to work across the aisle. And as a political activist, I have done that, and I have sat with Republicans across the aisle. I have sat with congressional offices from across the political spectrum, and we can always find ways to come together. As we've seen where in the past, someone like Mike Lee and Bernie Sanders were able to work together on a Yemen bill.
Yeah.
It can be done.
Great
if
example.
You have folks who genuinely care and actually are willing to put that aside to pass legislation.
One of the other big issues, of course,
much more tame for pussy is what you're saying.
You have been vocal about your stance on abortion, saying that Congress needs to codify Roe v. Wade into law and that the government should never come between a patient and their doctor. Now, in your opinion, are there any circumstances where you think some type of an abortion ban should be put in place?
It seems like every day.
Thank you, Flash.
We are hearing.
It's a good idea. I should keep the Democrats' websites handy.
About women who are bleeding out in parking lots at the hospital because doctors cannot do their jobs. A woman in Ohio was arrested for having a miscarriage. It is unbelievable to me that this is where we are today. And Andy Biggs wants a federal abortion ban. He wants to ban contraception and wants to punish fertilization clinics where you would go to get IVF treatments. I would absolutely always support our reproductive freedoms, whether it's abortion, contraception, IVF, because never should a politician come in between you and your doctor. Never.
Yep.
So just to clarify, do you think there should ever be any type of an abortion ban put in place, whether that's by
That's how we beat Medicare.
in the pregnancy?
No, I think we need to restore Roe v. Wade and go back to those standards. And we've had it for 50 years. We should go back to that.
And Arizonans will be voting on this particular issue coming up here soon.
Yes.
Do you think that this should be something that's in the state's hands, or should it stay a federal issue?
Well, as we've seen with the overturn of Roe v. Wade, we are hearing more and more of these stories that I was mentioning before. So it absolutely has to be a federal issue, because we cannot afford to see more and more women struggling to get the health care that they need. Doctors have restrictions on the care that they can provide to their patients. That is not a healthy economy. It is not a healthy ecosystem for any of us in any situation. So yes, I support a federally supporting Roe v. Wade.
Okay. Let's switch gears and talk about climate for a moment. 2024's summer, the hottest on record in Arizona, as we've all been feeling. We also saw the most consecutive days with a high above 100 degrees. What is your take on climate change?
Yeah, gosh, it is hot. It's hot right now. And what we've seen is that it's just getting hotter. We're having this drought with this water crisis here in Arizona, wildfires more and more every summer, people having to flee their homes. I saw an evacuation earlier today over by Tortilla Flats. It is devastating to see the impact that we're seeing in our day-to-day lives because of this extreme weather. And when we have people like Andy Biggs who don't listen to the science, who deny climate change and completely ignore any action, we are going to continue to see
but it's a dry heat
struggle, have to leave their homes. Their homes have been burned down. They have no water. So we need to tackle this now before it gets even worse. And we can do that again by coming together, working together, supporting infrastructure so that we can actually tackle this crisis head on and get ahead of it before it's too late.
I wish Biggs had been there.
When it comes to this issue,
If he said he didn't believe in the science, he would have been like, well, you don't know what a woman is.
What do you propose then?
That would have been a lot of fun.
To negate some of the challenges associated with, as you said, climate change.
Supporting our economy. We can do both. We can invest in infrastructure and different energy sources so that we can actually tackle this issue and invest in our economy. And it really doesn't have to be one or the other. We can do both if we stop making this so political, look at the facts, look at the science, and understand that all we really need to do is invest in a variety of energy sources, and it will bring new and good paying jobs to Arizona.
Now, education is another hot button issue, especially here in Arizona, but also across the country. In your opinion, what is the federal government's role when it comes to education?
Our teachers, our students, they are overworked and overwhelmed.
And underfucked. Oh.
They are not getting the support, the resources, the materials that they need for their classrooms. They're not getting the social support from our communities. And they are feeling it every day, where teachers have to use their own money, their own funds to pay for materials that their students need. And Andy Biggs wants to make it that much harder. He wants to eliminate the Department of Education. He wants to defund public schools, which will just put more and more strain on teachers and students who are just trying to get an education. We have to do more. We need to provide the resources that teachers need for their classrooms. Get them the training that they need so that they can better serve all the students and serve the needs of all of their students in their classrooms. Whether that's materials that they need, education, or mental health care.
And so much of that comes down to funding, of course. Arizona has some of the worst per pupil education spending in the country. Actually,
Seven heavy. I told you good evening.
Put us at 49.
I don't think I have. Good evening.
When it comes to our public schools and that need for funds that you mentioned, what can be done to improve that? What sorts of concrete plans do you have to help turn that around?
This goes back to holding people accountable, especially these large corporations. If they were paying their fair share, and if billionaires were paying their fair share, we could invest in our communities. Instead, Andy Biggs is passing massive tax cuts for them, driving up our deficit. So, of course, we need to hold them accountable. Make sure they're paying their fair share so we can invest in our communities so that our teachers are supported, our students are getting the care that they need and deserve.
All right, we have about 1 minute left before we get to your closing statement. Okay. You touched on this a little bit in your opening. You haven't held elected office before. In fact, this is your
The Hill says he has a 99% chance of winning. Cook has it as a lean Republican.
to those who may feel like you don't have the experience for this type of position.
I grew up in a blue-collar family. My dad was a carpenter. I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. And like I said before, I worked in the trades. I worked in corporate America. And I've been a political activist. And I believe that provides me a unique perspective because I understand how federal policy impacts our day-to-day lives and how government should impact our day-to-day life. Andy Biggs won the lottery and used it to amplify his political career. And he is serving billionaires.
Well, I can imagine he's out
They're
spinner.
price gouging corporations instead of constituents and everyday families. I will always put everyday families first. Working people and families must come first in Congress, and too many politicians have put up these blind spots and are completely out of touch with reality.
And Ms. Schaffner, it's now time for closing statements. I want
It's because her opponent is Andy Biggs and he's a fucking coward.
Great. So I mentioned this a couple times already, but Andy Biggs is serving the billionaires and he's serving those price gouging corporations that are driving off the cost of our groceries. We need working representation in Washington, D.C. Someone who understands what it's like to earn a living. Someone who can compromise without compromising our values. And it is time to stop playing politics and start governing. And if you'd like to learn more, you can go to my website at KatrinaForArizona.com. Thank you.
Ms. Schaffner, thank you for being here today. That is all the time that we have for today's one-on-one conversation with candidates for Congressional District 5. On behalf of our partners at Clean Elections, the
Well, I kind of figured they had other stuff because they're
and Bitfire Studios.
They're doing a lot of different events for like local offices, judgeships, that sort of thing. So I figured they would have something else after this, but apparently not. And I guess I would assume that was supposed to go an hour. It was supposed to be an hour between them, and I guess if it was supposed to be an hour, it would kind of be unfair to make her speak for an hour. Avalon, good evening. Well, lucky for me, I do indeed have more news to go, and the story of the night is right here waiting for us, and I have a car chase, so hey, it's not like I didn't come prepared. Are you ready? Are you ready for the story I've been waiting for all goddamn day? Residents of Florida might have smelled something funky today. Might have smelled like shit.
Millions of gallons. Imagine it, millions of gallons of sewage spilling into your neighborhood. Why did it happen on this street, and where did all that water go? Good evening, I'm Keith Kate.
And I'm Stacy Scheibel. Thank you for joining us. The rupture of a very large sewer line in the neighborhood is causing problems and frustration for homeowners.
Yeah, it's a 24-inch force main sewer line, and it broke, and it's not the first time something like that has happened there. Now, this time, 4 million gallons of untreated wastewater leaked into the neighborhood just off Boca Ciega Bay in southern Pinellas County.
Ooh.
Jeff Patterson is there for us tonight. Jeff, that's a tremendous amount of sewage.
That's a lot of shit.
Good evening, Keith and Stacy. It is a tremendous amount of sewage. Let's put this into perspective for you. This pipe down here, this green pipe, is the pipe in question. It's a 24-inch force main pipe that carries raw sewage from here to Boca Ciega Bay, from here to the Cross Bayou Water Treatment Plant. The water, when it flowed out of this pipe, when this pipe burst,
I didn't catch it, Holiday.
4 million gallons of raw sewage into this neighborhood and into the stormwater sewer here and eventually into Boca Ciega Bay.
The environmental impact is considerable.
Joyce Drew is worried about her neighbors and the impact to Boca Ciega Bay after untreated wastewater flowed here.
2 houses up, they really got hit hard this time. Last time it was closer to here.
Her neighbor, Barry Medlock, says the same pipe has broken before.
I call it a shitstorm.
Maddening, knowing that it was 2 years ago, almost to the day that it happened.
This time, raw sewage leaked into his front yard and into his garage.
Well, when I got home, you could smell it. My neighbor brought over a couple of fans, put inside my house to keep the smell down.
A spokesperson for Pinellas County says the line ruptured because it's old, and after emergency repairs are made, there is a plan to replace the entire line, but that will take time. Maya Burke with the Tampa Bay Estuary Program says leaks like this are not good for aerial waterways.
These sanitary sewer overflows, raw sewage, it contains a lot of bacteria and pathogens, and it can also contain a lot of nutrient pollution.
She says local governments have been investing heavily in repairing aging sewer lines, but there is still a lot of work to be done.
But it's not enough. The work's not done, right? The work continues, and so we need to continue to invest because things like 4 million gallons of wastewater spilled here, 20 million gallons of wastewater spilled there, that all adds up, and that's not good for the community either.
24 million gallons of wastewater.
Repairs here are expected to last 2 to 3 weeks. Stacy?
So when the line broke, Jeff, where did that 4 million gallons of sewage go?
Yeah, let me show you. As a matter of fact, it was not a trickle. That 4 million gallons leaked. Some of it went into these homes. Some of it went all the way down the street here. And then it wasn't just a trickle, as I said. It went into the stormwater sewer here. We saw down the street where it was eroding the sand in the front yards of these homes. It went into a stormwater sewer and eventually into Boca Ciega Bay. So not a good situation for anyone in this neighborhood.
Not at all. Jeff Patterson, live in Pinellas County. Thank you.
It wouldn't make a good fertilizer because it's got all kinds of other stuff in it, right? Because it's got toilet paper and baby wipes and stuff like that in it, and other chemicals. Ew. Also, Phil Magina, good evening. Tim, did I tell you good evening? This just popped up, so let's do this. This is always, this is not fun. This is not something to laugh at, but also it's kind of funny.
A terrifying encounter for a Santa Monica woman who wakes up to find a homeless intruder in her bedroom. Good evening. This is the KTLA.
He's apparently naked.
I'm Cher Calvin.
And I'm Micah Ullman. It was 4 a.m. when a Santa Monica woman was startled awake by a half-naked man.
Half-naked.
KTLA's Jacqueline Sarkeesian is live in Santa Monica with reaction from residents and the mayor. Jacqueline.
Hi, good evening to both of you. Thankfully, this woman.
Yeah, good question. Which app?
Call 911 immediately. Police responded within minutes, and they were able to arrest this suspect. But we've been talking to some residents. A lot of them didn't hear about this case, but they said they're not surprised. There are so many homeless people in and out of this area. It's gone out of control, and they say more needs to be done to secure their safety.
Who wrote this story? Was it Anna Kasparian?
Santa Monica police are calling this man a residential prowler.
We had an individual who climbed up onto a second-floor balcony.
He then made his way inside someone's apartment located in the 900 block of 7th Street. It happened in the early morning hours last Saturday. According to the victim, she woke up to him touching her leg.
He was fully exposed and basically just scared the wits out of this poor woman who was, sleeping in her own apartment.
The suspect has been identified.
Can I pause it to the liberals who would watch a story like this and say something needs to be done? I will agree with you. Something absolutely needs to be done. We need housing for people. We need a universal basic income. We need health care for everyone. We need to fix our society, and then you won't wake up with half-naked homeless men touching your leg because they'll get the help that they need. They'll be housed and clothed and fed, and they won't be waking you up touching your leg. It is for the betterment of society and in your own best interest to fix the problems that we have. This is the sign of a failing government. I know it's communism.
Identified as 34-year-old Anthony Townsend and is currently homeless. He fled the apartment.
Do more communism.
A short distance away. He's now behind bars and faces felony charges. A sigh of relief for one woman who lives nearby.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I live here, so definitely, yeah.
Yu says she lives in the neighborhood and has noticed the city's homeless problem getting worse.
Everyone should kind of be aware of it, because it is kind of like safety as a woman, maybe have protection around.
I don't want anyone in our...
Yes, I am concerned for your safety, but I'm also concerned for the safety of the person who is homeless. There are so many problems that come with being homeless. What about their safety? Can we care about them? Because caring about them will solve the problem that you have. See, it's almost like a what they call a symbiotic relationship.
So to be afraid of sleeping or being in their house safely.
Santa Monica Mayor Phil Brock has been very vocal about the homeless issue. He was less than pleased when he found out about Townsend.
It's horrible. I'm happy it wasn't worse, but it makes my heart sick that we have any of these incidents in a civilized society. It's unacceptable.
He climbed up a balcony. So I guess she had either her window was unlocked or her balcony door was unlocked or it was open. Fucking at my last apartment, I used to sleep with I had French doors that opened to the back patio, and it was screened in. And I lived in the main back of the apartment complex up against the national forest. I slept with my doors open all the time. Probably wouldn't have done that if I was a woman. That's another one of those men thing. Like, I'll wake up and beat a motherfucker. Homeless, you could just assume they're going to be on something. They're going to be on some substance or have some mental health issue. Being homeless is not good for your psyche. So therefore, you have to turn to drugs. It's completely understandable that people that have housing issues turn to drugs. People who have all kinds of issues turn to drugs. If you are homeless, drugs are a relatively cheap in comparison to what you need, a home and care from a society. Drugs are a really cheap fix for that, so that's why people turn to them. Make themselves feel better real fast. So I had to correct myself because, like, drugs aren't just a homeless problem. Drugs are a problem. Drugs are a relief for many problems. But of course, if you're homeless, it's gonna make being out on the fucking street a lot easier. Mary Jane, of course I see it. I'm in the homes doing drugs with people. What better way? What better story to go to after talking about our homeless problem and how people are in crisis than to talk about how we put a billionaire out into space today. This is the first ever commercial spacewalk.
Commander Jared Isaacman now emerging
Copy
from...
with you, Test Matrix 1, watching from the nose cone.
Up, down, left, and right are 3.
I'm disgusted by this, but also this is history.
Pitch and roll are 3. Yaw is a 2. Switching. Single-handed operations are fine. Static. And with
the first ever non-astronaut to do a spacewalk.
Switching to left hand.
God, I don't even know. I didn't even look up who the fuck this is.
Normally notes.
Ah, shut up. A tech billionaire performed the first private spacewalk hundreds of miles above Earth on Thursday, a high-risk endeavor reserved for professional astronauts until now. Tech entrepreneur Jared Isaacman teamed up with SpaceX to test the company's new spacesuits on his chartered flight. The daring feat also saw SpaceX engineer Sarah Gillis going out once Isaacman was safely back inside.
So what we have here is the first spacewalk by humans, which is not going to be conducted by professional astronauts. It's a private company sending people into space. They are all very well trained. They are all very much their own experts, but we've never before had these non-professionals, not full-time astronauts, actually exit the vehicle.
What could go wrong?
Spacewalk. This is a major step forward in terms of space travel for humans. It also brings with it incredible risks because a lot of the technology is new. A lot of it has not been fully tested in outer space. It's people with a very different background and very different training from what has happened before in terms of professional astronauts. So it's always this balance between risk and reward. This is very much an experimentation. It's really trying to push the frontiers of commercial space travel and space tourism. So they do have some scientific aspects, particularly regarding the space travel, but fundamentally what they're doing is having a bit of fun. It's for a human being to experience what so few would ever have the chance of doing.
Having a little fun.
Paying for it because it's phenomenally expensive.
It's disgusting. But on the bright side, it is only a matter of time until one of them dies. Probably going to be sooner than later, too. So if they keep doing it, it's going to happen pretty quickly. Launching billionaires into space? Joey, good evening. Do you guys think Elon will actually go up? I think he's a pussy. I don't think he would. I think he's all talk. Elon will not actually go out on a spacewalk. Not gonna happen. Has he been up in the little pod thing? Has he even done that? I think he's done that. But I'm not exactly sure. But that's not even in space. Thread, good evening. I don't think I told you. I don't think he gave you salutations when you came in. Did you guys know that Bon Jovi apparently stopped a woman from committing suicide? God damn it. Why you gotta do that to me? I hope that's not like the theme of his video or something. I fell for some stuff. Rock legend John Bon Jovi had magic words to help one woman in distress Tuesday evening, seemingly convincing the stranger not to jump off a bridge. The singer was filming a music video for his new song People's House on the John Siegenthaler pedestrian bridge in Music City around 6 p.m. when JBJ noticed a woman in need of help. It was released by the Nashville Police Department. That bridge is awesome, by the way. I've walked across it many times. Like, hi, Mr. Bon Jovi. Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Everybody keep the faith. The Bon Jovi didn't even do all the work. It's the woman that was with him. If you were trying to kill yourself, I probably wouldn't jump off of that bridge, though. Pretty big river down below. But I guess that's heartwarming. What's he telling her? Whoa, you're halfway there. Whoa, you're living on a prayer. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Whoa, living on a prayer. Oh, yeah, I hope they put her in the music video. Since we're talking about musicians, watch Flava Flav ring the New York Stock Exchange's closing bell and send the gavel flying into the crowd. So Flava Flav knows how to work his way around a clock, but maybe don't let him get a gavel in his hands. The lesson was learned when the Public Enemy rapper joined U.S. women's water polo team goalie Ashley Johnson at the New York Stock Exchange on Monday. What are we canceling me for this time? That's when Flav got a bit overzealous. Okay, that's pretty funny. You're gonna hurt somebody. Media winch, what are you doing? It's incredible that Flav is still a celebrity. He's on that Red Lobster fame right now. Everybody was good through what was supposed to be a debate. Didn't end up being a debate. It ended up being a one-person show because Andy Biggs is a coward and did not show up. Since everybody was good through the basically town hall. Well, it wasn't even a town hall because there's no people. It was just a public forum. Since everybody was good through the public forum, time for police chase.
You can see how fast this car is moving, using all lanes right now. An older style BMW four-door. Can see California Highway Patrol. You got 2 of their units in pursuit right now, 3 units in pursuit, and this vehicle really kind of moving out. These speeds are better than highway.
Moving on out.
Sure. Right now, though, we're coming up on the 605. Was using that center lane. Whoa, cutting somebody off.
Damn.
605. It looks like
almost sideswiped him.
Definitely on the transition, northbound 605, and that's one of the reasons why they always wait a few minutes there when they get on those transition roads. Hitting the brakes a little bit. California Highway Patrol right behind him this evening, looking at the traffic.
Kind of amazed CHP is following that close.
Maneuvering to do if he's going to keep that distance between him and those officers.
And Stu, you mentioned that originally the LA County Sheriff's Department was chasing this person in this BMW, and we don't know the original why they're running away from the CHP right now. Why didn't they turn on their lights and sirens? Any idea?
Well, you know, the law enforcement, they are very touchy on that P word, that pursuit word. Sheriff's Department was following
the P word
this vehicle very closely. They were actually asking for backup. That light you're seeing right there, I believe, is still the sheriff's helicopter.
Kanye.
When it got overhead, turned on their light, was the one that's basically was watching what was going on. But they were asking for California Highway Patrol's assistance right from the get-go. So Sheriff's Department was following this vehicle earlier on. They never were in pursuit. Soon as that unit that you see right there, that California Highway Patrol, got behind it, he basically made that move, turned on those lights, and this car refused to stop. Actually kind of sped up. We kind of kept an eye on it for just a few minutes just to make sure there was no mistake what was going on here.
Winchy.
There wasn't any. Northbound 605 now from the 60 freeway. This car going about 90 miles an hour. We know at least the driver's in there. That's a given. But we don't know if there's anybody else inside that vehicle, and we're still trying to work on those original wants and warrants. But this guy this evening, keeping that distance between him and those officers.
Okay, Stu, well, we do have some information to update you on related to...
Yes, Friday the 13th is usually when we celebrate the anniversary of the Freak Show.
Said that the want on this vehicle...
It's actually August 13th is when the Freak Show launched.
On KCAL 9, going about 80, 90 miles per hour.
But it was on a Friday the 13th, clearly.
And Susie, it appears there are about 3 CHP cruisers in...
The part of me did want to try to do a Freak Show tomorrow night.
This up around the 710.
However,
the 60 freeway. Now we're on the northbound 605.
A huge smackdown tomorrow night as well, and I'm very tired.
If this person is
I got things to do.
Like, he's keeping up the speeds. If not going.
Oh, God.
It's really close right there.
Hard on the brakes there, changing his mind at the last moment, it looks like. I'm not sure if we have established. Yeah, we are definitely established eastbound 10 freeway after he made that rough transition there, getting into a lot of traffic. Those types of maneuvers, that's what's going to keep these officers on their toes. They are concerned about public safety. They don't want to see this vehicle hurt any innocent people. They also want to make sure that that driver is safe, even though he is being pursued. And then, of course, officer safety also is something that they're thinking about. Right now, though,
this is pretty light traffic for 8 o'clock outside of L.A.
Fooled by that, still would fall into a performance vehicle. But you saw with the driver, not a professional, was pushing that vehicle, skidding out there a little bit as it made that transition onto the eastbound 10. Now you can see him hard on the brakes right there. Looks like we got a little bit of traffic coming up. People trying to get out of his way.
I don't know, because I don't know when this happened.
A little bit thicker traffic as we're working our way eastbound 10, as we're going to be getting out in past the El Monte area right now.
Well, I'm not familiar with the area, Simp.
Several units out here.
But I don't think because they're on the interstate, like just outside of LA. Because it started with the LAPD, or not the LAPD, the LA County Sheriff's Department pursuing him.
Probably going about 80, maybe 90 miles an hour. California Highway Patrol right behind this guy.
But see, CHP is on him now, so I'm assuming it's outside of LA County.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about.
So I just don't know where it is to tell you.
For police officers in traffic like this, Stu, because it's starting to thicken up a little bit. We have somebody that's driving 80 miles an hour. You know, we talk about the pit maneuver. I mean, obviously, these are speeds that are pretty high. They can't do anything at that speed, can they?
Yeah. Well, you know, Jeff, that would be extremely dangerous for everybody involved to do anything.
Ask those cops in Columbus. We watched it the other day. They didn't give a fuck.
Probably 30, 40 miles an hour. You know, I get those questions.
Oh, God damn it. I was right there.
Other people, we understand right now, just entering the Baldwin Park area. If you're just joining us, pursuit, we're going about 95 miles an hour. I can tell you, Sky 9 this evening, tracking this vehicle 95 miles an hour across the ground. So that's
They have radar.
California Highway Patrol, their options right now pretty tough.
The other LA station usually has it on the screen.
Worried about the public safety as this vehicle continues to barrel down the freeway this evening. Older style BMW, they're saying it's a stolen vehicle. What can they do to stop this? Well, right now they're just going to stay behind it. They're going to get as much information as they can about that driver, try to figure out what his wants are, or what his drive is besides that BMW this evening. This type of stuff, very, very dangerous. What they can do right now is lights and sirens. The helicopter's light. That's about all they can do. Kind of warn the people.
They got radio, they got radar on the helicopter.
Public safety is definitely is priority one for any law enforcement, especially when they're going 97 is what we're tracking this guy at this evening. Now, that's not an exact number, but I'm telling you, we're basically got this car right out our door. My pilot, John, this evening holding the helicopter, very steady out here, and we're doing 97, 98 miles an hour across the ground. That's from a GPS, so those numbers pretty solid. You can see California Highway Patrol swapping out cars.
Yeah, also, if it's like a 65 mile per hour, you can kind of gauge by the flow of the rest of the traffic.
Excuse me.
Oh God!
Look at that! Look at that! Right, taking the emergency lane to make those moves. At these,
it looked like that car was coming over on him.
Threading the needle. This car not slowing down. California Highway Patrol going to stay right behind him. We're coming up on the West Covina area right now. We got the malls up ahead. Traffic about what you see.
I am from Appalachia.
Out here, it's a little sporadic, but if somebody could get panicked,
so LA is a long way from home for me.
Situation for sure.
If you're just joining us here on KCAL 9 News at 8, we are following a live pursuit.
I'm from Eastern Kentucky.
The city of West Covina. This all started as
thank you, Sim.
Gabriel area or near the 605 and the 7 along the 60 freeway. The driver in this black four-door older model BMW then transitioned onto the northbound 605.
That's exactly what was happening. It's 8 o'clock.
10 freeway where he or she is going at speeds at.
That's 517 their time or
98 miles per hour. You can see no regard.
No, I did the math wrong. I'm so bad with math.
These lanes. Stu, again, you mentioned the LA County Sheriff's Department originally following, not pursuing this vehicle without their lights and sirens on. Do you have any idea if they were actually doing this on surface?
It'd be 11 o'clock Eastern time, so he's rushing to try to catch the end of the troll patrol.
On surface streets.
We picked it up and it was already it was established on the 10 freeway out over by the USC Medical Center out in the Baldwin Park area. That was the area where we kind of picked it up. We didn't actually have the vehicle until he
Darth Coins, welcome in. Thank you for being a freaking follower.
To the 60 freeway. That was the first time we actually saw the car itself. They had one unit right behind it.
Joey, did I tell you good evening?
Department vehicle, and he did not have his lights on. They were what they were calling following. They were getting their ducks in a row. They can't just get one unit behind a car.
I'm going to go ahead and hit the commercial break for people on Twitch. We're going to get it out of the way. We do all 3 minutes at once. You get it out of the way. You don't miss any content. So I know for a fact how long this is. So you're not going to miss the end of the chase. I promise you. Go ahead and get this commercial break out of the way. We'll see you on the other side. I've been to jail in Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
This guy really moving along.
That's a long way from where I'm from. Completely other side of the state.
On the 10 freeway, we're going to be coming up on that steep hill, going to be getting over to the Pomona area, using that emergency lane once again. You got to think that person in that car that he just passed, you're driving along.
Fred, did I tell you good evening?
And you see a car passing, it's going to catch you off guard. We haven't seen anybody jerk or make those violent moves as this car has been passing.
I want you to hold me like one of your cats in your profile picture.
A little bit. That California Highway Patrol vehicle.
Parts of Kentucky is gorgeous, Simp. Other parts are not.
Putting a little bit of closing that gap between them.
My apologies.
He does get up right on him. We're not going to see any kind of contact, especially.
I am a stoner. You may get told good evening twice.
Pursuing this stolen
or 3 times.
Lights and sirens, trying to get the public aware, knowing that this is coming their direction, trying to keep the public safe, and we're watching along. Hopefully, nobody's going to be hurt this evening, but this older style BMW stolen is really still keeping the distance and moving along out here as we're leaving the West Covina area, and we're going to start heading heading out towards the 57. We've seen a lot of transitions this evening as this person's been on the freeways, but we're going to be entering the Pomona.
There is a lot of good people in Appalachia.
Our way down there.
There's a lot of people that are just
yeah, we're just going to recap here.
they're just trying to get by, and they don't understand. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
And heading into Pomona now as we continue to follow this.
They don't get the people that are exploiting them.
This is a stolen vehicle, four-door BMW being pursued by CHP right now. It's initially a stolen vehicle and was found by the Sheriff's Department of L.A.
Growing up, my entire life, it was always like coal.
Northbound 605. And
keep the lights on, and I've got friends in low places, and
from
shit like that. And
98 miles per
as I got older, I started criticizing that.
off the headlights.
He turned off his headlights.
Emergency
This is
lane,
freaky looking.
Shoulder going at speeds of, as we mentioned, 80, 90 miles.
Turn it back on.
You can see the chopper following overhead as well.
That's right. We got the LA County Sheriff's Department chopper over as
But
well.
those bumper stickers and those, like, we had the Cedar Coal Fair where I was from, where, like, we would make projects like, at 4-H, but we'd make them about coal and how wonderful coal was. That's propaganda. That's brainwashing.
Pretty soon here. But, as Jeff was mentioning, this has been a...
And I mentioned that, like, as I got older...
out there, as they always are when
those
pursuits reach speeds.
Bumper stickers and those slogans and shit.
Miles per hour, close to 100
they were
miles per hour.
made by these marketing firms in Lexington and Louisville. Had so far removed from what was the actual truth of my friends that were actually down in the mines.
And reckless maneuvers.
Yeah, we saw that one maneuver. He put on his brakes to avoid hitting the car.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he didn't hit a car, but he was going into an on-ramp.
Yeah, we're past the 57.
And so let's go back upstairs to Stu Mundell live in Sky 9. Now, Stu, we had 3 officers following. Is that the situation as you kind of have a tight shot on this vehicle? How's the...
Just 3?
Take a look. We've got, looks like there are more than 3.
Yeah, I was about to say.
At one point we understand there were up to 6 California Highway Patrol vehicles.
Pretty much, Kanye, or at least the eastern part. It's the central part that has horses.
Right now, continuing on the 10 freeway.
And then the western, Kentucky's like 3 different states.
Take that interchange, and basically
Eastern Kentucky is the mountains and coal. Central Kentucky is kind of hilly and it's horses.
When you said that, I was like,
and then Western Kentucky is farmland.
That was all about. Gosh, you got to kind of wonder what's going through any of these people's minds.
And the Corvette Museum.
And, you just don't know. I mean, we can't play any kind of psychiatrist at all. These guys, they are running from authorities. They've probably got a lot on their minds. Hopefully, they're paying.
But do we have more? Do we have more than one person?
Using that carpool lane, getting across those carpool lanes right there. Speeds have slowed down a little bit. I mean, we're probably
Welcome back from the commercial break.
Now we've dropped out of those 90s. That big hill might have been what slowed it down. Not really sure. Right now, though, California Highway Patrol right behind them. We're making our way.
Welcome back, the Poors.
Next big city is going to be Montclair.
I will not mock anybody. Like, there's no reason to give me money.
We saw a couple of those officers. We actually saw them do that swap out earlier on. That's because we're going from division to division, like LAPD has divisions of the.
If you're here all the time and you don't want to watch commercials, totally understand it.
Follow out here on the freeways, and when they enter or leave those areas, those officers, they swap it.
I appreciate your likes, your shares, your word of mouth.
That vehicle right behind them there,
more than your money.
That question up earlier on. What are they going to do to stop this guy?
No, I'm not, DJ. No, I am so appreciative of everybody that's. And DJW, you have been so fucking supportive of me.
Especially on the freeway.
I am so appreciative of it.
Sometimes when they're going a little bit slower, that they'll try.
Beyond just all the. You throwing out the gift subs that you make it rain here in the chat. Beyond that, people don't even know that you have tipped me multiple times.
The back car, the stolen vehicle, is going to lead the officers where he's going. We're all going to watch. California Highway Patrol, though, they've got a job to do, and they're going to keep us eye on.
And I appreciate that so much.
Public safe, and then they're also.
I never want you to stop being a burden on me.
Easy job at all. But
you're not a burden on me.
We're going to be entering the Claremont-Montclair area. This is on the 10 freeway.
Wait, what did I say?
Continues to lose.
Oh, God damn it! Again!
Headed into in the Ontario area now, Stu. This guy obviously.
Fuck!
I don't know why they're running. It could be just for the stolen vehicle. There could be other offenses that we don't know about, and also evading.
I love you guys so much.
Certainly one of them, and another charge that will be filed will be.
Look, I've had fun the whole time I've been doing the Troll Patrol.
Whether or not this person.
Well, like that first year and a half, there weren't a lot of you in here.
Really, that's one of the things I've been trying to listen. We've been peeking in.
Less than a minute twice in a row.
At first I thought maybe he had like an iPad or
Alien Deep Dish.
may just be the.
What is that? I love your name.
Through the car.
Thank you for being a freaking follower.
Make out the one guy in there. Sometimes we see him on the phone or fidgeting around. This guy seems to be driving. That's what he seems to be doing.
Oh shit! No shit, Sherlock.
Trying to take a peek in there. We
Alien Deep Dick.
Heard anything? Using that gore point once again. Maybe he was thinking about getting off the freeway. Maybe he wasn't.
Well, hey, I knew when I first started streaming. I'm like, when I start doing this, because I'm a real broadcaster. I know. What I do again? What? Fuck you.
And of course, if this continues on, they're going to be swapping out sooner or later. Right now, those officers working their way around the traffic. This car's still passing all the other cars on the freeway. So speed's definitely faster than 60, 65, probably faster than 70 right now. But this car continues just to go.
I have no discipline. I lack a discipline.
In the Montclair area.
Is that racist? Don't clip that.
This person not looking in his rearview mirror much, watching what's out front. But sooner or later, this is going to have to come to an end.
It is very racist.
A little bit about the strategy of the CHP here, because you see that lead vehicle right behind the stolen vehicle live here on KCAL 9. That is an SUV. There are a couple of the cruisers, though, behind him. So the strategy has got to be have that heavier SUV right behind that suspect vehicle, Stu.
Do it, DJ Dub. Absolutely.
Much the standard vehicle right now for the California Highway Patrol. Most of their vehicles are going to be those Ford Explorers. You know, if the speeds slow down, or
I want to help Hogwatch get off the ground. Safely. I love the idea. Just like, God, why you got to do this to me now?
We've seen
like 2 months before the election.
You know, battering ram might be a little bit too harsh of a word, but let's just say gently tapping that suspect's vehicle into submission. They do have those heavier bumpers on there. These vehicles are designed to be roughed up a little.
No, I'm totally into it. I was like, I was thinking as I was cleaning the house earlier today.
30 miles.
I was like, could I make him a template to where he'd be able to use it himself and just drop things into it? I could make it real simple.
Now that officer, that's right.
Like, I don't have time for this.
That gap, just to stay close enough. If this suspect does make a quick move, that they're able to make that quick move as well, and also the lights and
No, I'm here for you.
That's the only thing they have right now to warn the people in the area that something's coming through, that they've got emergency vehicles, they have a situation moving across the freeway out here.
They even throw it out because I'm like, any of my friends, they're running for office, I will do audio video work for them for free.
Just continues to drive. You know,
this is in the same vein. You're doing God's work.
Guys, so they're just going to drive it out. Let's drag it out as long as they can. You know, they've got. Well, how often have we ever seen somebody get away? You know, admittedly we have, but for the most part, even if they did get away for the moment, they always get caught later on.
Yeah, and we always.
I've got a friend. His name is Big Daddy Voodoo.
Gasoline.
And he's cool. And he likes watching like old movies and doing almost like a Mystery Science Theater kind of thing over it. And I'm like, man, do that on Twitch. Be Svengoolie of Twitch.
We're going to be tracking him right now. Going to do some button pushing. We're going 77 miles an hour across.
Oh, media winch.
So he's probably going about 70, about that as well. California Highway Patrol right behind him there. It looks like we might be moving over here. Nope, change his mind again. But it does seem like maybe he's looking for an off-ramp out here in the Montclair area. I'm sorry, the
DJ Dub. Like maybe you and I need to get together.
Does get off Upland. We're in Upland.
And get like, I've always wanted to offer like photography, video, DJ, all in one service.
Upland area, eastbound 10 freeway. If
do weddings. I had some friends. I tried to sell them on the idea of it.
A little bit of the desperation that these individuals.
And they're like, we don't want to do weddings. We're above doing weddings. I'm like, weddings are where the money is. And you can do weddings and finance your other things.
Rather than taking that emergency lane at high speeds, that one almost sideswiping a vehicle as they get onto the shoulder or onto a ramp of a highway earlier.
No.
Other than that, now they're turning the light back off for some reason.
Yes, this is wild.
You just wonder if they're experimenting with the car, but also if it's desperation on their part to find some way to kind of shake off the police. And of course,
I've done them so much, Prometheus. They're not a big deal.
The point in time where you just wonder what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
I have seen some wild stuff
happening throughout this pursuit, where they've been turning their lights off and on.
I have photographed 2 or 3 or 4 weddings.
Tonight, breaking news on
maybe more than that, maybe 5 or 6 or 7.
9 pictures.
And I have DJ'd.
Speed pursuit that's reached miles of up to, or speeds of up to 100,
150.
It started in the Baldwin Park area. As far as we know, that's where we picked it up.
I like making a huge chunk in one afternoon.
Ontario, and we really haven't seen this person slow down. The CHP has been.
He's on his phone
for more than half an hour now.
I see it lit up
along the 60 freeway near the 710.
Is it GPS? Is he texting somebody?
The Sheriff's Department was originally following this vehicle, for it was a stolen vehicle, but we don't know about other offenses.
He's trying to find the right song. Watching himself on the news.
There are passengers in this car, but perhaps they did as a group commit. We have no idea.
But you got to if you're in the LA area, somebody call you, be like, hey, you're on the news.
Following this car, and then they asked for the backup of the California Highway Patrol, and the LA County Sheriff's Department chopper is still overhead, along with ours, and multiple CHP units are behind this stolen vehicle. Again, it's unclear though if the driver is alone.
Well, there's at least somebody in there turning on and off the lights. You wonder if that's a generator or a battery issue.
Prom's good money as well, DJ Dub. I've done many a prom. Homecoming.
But we continue to follow this live pursuit here on KCAL 9, Stu Medell's and Sky 9. I understand we just went flying by the Ontario airport during this chase just a few minutes ago.
We're right in that area right now. Archibald is the next major off-ramp. We used the mighty lens out here on Sky 9 this evening, trying to get a real close look in there.
I like the open bars. I go get drunk.
But probably not very likely. Does seem to be just the driver, and maybe one of the reasons, and that's all we got right now is maybe one of the reasons those lights are coming off and on. Is it seems like he's
DJ. Have you not heard me talk about how I was a DJ at a strip club?
Familiar with the car, trying to turn the lights on. That glow definitely was.
Oh, on the job, sir.
We did see
like what?
Earlier on when we.
I'm a DJ. I can play music.
We've got right now. We can see him momentarily inside the vehicle. Him using that phone.
All I do is pick up alcohol, pot. Enhances my ability to play good music for you.
That might be what's going on right there. That's the reason why we got this super tight shot right now. He does seem to be favoring that those right-hand lanes. So that kind of makes you wonder if he's going to be trying to get off the freeway, or perhaps he's looking for something out here this evening.
I went with a truck driver, like a cross country. He was like a private, delivered art and really expensive stuff to bougie people. And I went like a cross country delivering things. That was wild.
In the middle over there now is
only did that for like a week. That wasn't like a long-term thing.
Looked like he was going to try to get off the freeway. Now he's kind of.
Oh, it makes the music I play sound better to me. Makes me be able to tolerate Lil Jon and Usher.
Odd. And now I just kind of realizing
all that stuff I used to have to play. Or before I was at the strip club, I was at a roller rink. It was all Carly Rae Jepsen and Maroon 5 and stuff like that.
California Highway Patrol. Oddly enough, right there behind him. And, they're going to stay there until this person is in custody and that car has come to a complete stop.
Yeah, somebody's going to spend 2017 in jail when this is all wrapped up, because this guy at this
2017, was it that long ago?
Update on how many cities he's gone through at this point in time. Again, this is a stolen vehicle, a police pursuit, speeds up to 98 miles per hour. We're currently on the eastbound.
God, this one's 7 years ago.
Individual has gone through El Monte, Baldwin Park.
It's a classic car chase.
Savina, Pomona, Montclair, Ontario, and I guess up next would be Fontana if we get that far. We're in Ontario at this point in time.
That's right, and if we get into the Fontana area, then Rialto and San Bernardino after that. I mean, that's a long ways to go still, but still.
I wonder where he is now.
Right there on the
Anthony Fontano?
The 215 after that.
Unit's busiest music nerd.
Right there is where it all kind of intersects there, and
I love that guy. I don't ever disagree with him. He always has the same opinion as me.
There was no traffic really in the Ontario airport area where we might expect some traffic, maybe holiday traffic right now at this point, but not.
PB girl, good evening.
If this person keeps going east, well, no really areas where you can really hit traffic at this point unless there's some construction going on, right, Stu?
Well, he dropped a video like Tuesday about, or maybe Wednesday,
California Highway Patrol told
about yesterday about like with the disgusting things they were saying about Taylor Swift.
Right there, and that's one of the reasons why I got this wide shot. You can see other officers from the California Highway Patrol. They have the actual on-ramp blocked right there.
Math always gets us all messed up, PP girl.
15, but it also gives makes the roadway a lot less hectic, a lot less other vehicles on the road there. That might open up the possibilities for some aggressive moves from the California Highway Patrol vehicles, because they
Girl of the Gray
worry that much about the public.
Welcome.
Vehicle. It's coming up here on the 15. It looks like we're going to be taking the 15.
Is this your first time back since I've been banned? Unbanned?
But now it does look.
Anthony Fantano, oh God!
Going across that gore point right there.
Right, Stu?
We got to see what happened there.
It's been wide open, and
I wasn't paying attention.
Because California Highway Patrol holding a little bit of traffic. We're going to be approaching the 15 freeway. We're going to cross.
Dougie.
And it's one of the reasons why I got this wide shot. You can see other officers from the California Highway Patrol. They have the actual
Yeah, they got the ramp block there.
The 15 is coming up, so we're unclear if he's going to try to take that 15. But it also makes the roadway a lot less hectic, a lot less other vehicles on the road there. That might open up the possibilities for
they're going to do a pit
from the California Highway Patrol vehicles, because they don't have to worry that much about the public in their way or around this vehicle. It's coming up here on the 15. It looks like we're going to be taking the 15. We'll see which way it goes.
He's going to try to shake him, isn't he?
But now it does look like, whoop, changing his mind. Whoa! Going across that gore point right there, and the officers from the California Highway Patrol right there behind.
Or a spike strip. I almost asked you earlier.
Something else right.
I was like, what was your Twitch name?
Southbound 15. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but that was a little bit of an odd move right there, seeing if he's going to be taking this other one. Car, though, really seems to be slowing it down more and more and more. It might just be an illusion, but I really think that
we believe it was a stolen car, and we don't know of any other charges.
The reason is that something other than that.
You don't know for sure that the car is stolen, but we believe it to be stolen.
Right there is putting them back in with some traffic. So if they had that
in Ontario, California,
Highway Patrol.
So what would you guys say about 30 minutes, 45 minutes outside of LA?
On the roadway, this car speeding up a little bit now, and I'll get you a direction.
We've been driving for about 30 minutes. It started in LA County.
Flicker on and off if it's some sort of electrical issue, maybe the battery or the generators.
He was wild earlier in the chase.
That would be great if that.
And then kind of calmed. He got his cool.
Slow that guy down to the point where he would have to stop. And then
I don't even think this is high speed anymore. We're like 60, 70, aren't we?
Sure. Maybe the person, this is a stolen vehicle, so doesn't know how to operate the lights properly. Who knows? But, as you were mentioning, Jeff, there's nothing really, Stu was talking too, about that there are few options for the CHP at this point except to pursue, especially at speeds like this. On surface streets.
I'd hate to be
put out spike strips. They can try a pit.
Tripping and driving.
There are very few.
Especially with being chased by the cops.
Very few indeed, and the public safety, that's their number one. But right now, though,
he's tiny.
15, I've been
see if you can put him in the jar.
Everybody seems to know it is the southbound 15 freeway. We're going to be coming up on the 60, so we've seen sometimes, they make these.
How can a door be a jar?
Blocks, and we might be working our way back towards where he started. Gosh only knows. Right now, though, I can tell you southbound 15 freeway going to be still technically in the Ontario area.
I was dancing to their lights. I thought we'd made it to another club.
So not as fast as before. That's the only thing I can say for sure. Really kind of keeping that just about the freeway speeds. The Highway Patrol, they are not going to be able to do that pit maneuver at these speeds.
PP girl, that's me. Like I love to play games coming up, but you get to a certain point and it's like brain don't work anymore. Just want to turn off, listen to music and dance.
Could hit that center divider. Gosh only knows. I mean, we could go on and on. But right now, though, this car continues to keep that distance between.
That's the closest I've come to beating Tetris Effect. I was one line away and didn't get it.
That roadway, dirt back onto the freeway. But right now, though, speed's really kind of subdued for what we saw earlier on. Southbound 15, we're going to be coming up here on the 60, but it looks like.
But don't give me. I will just sit here and recite Bill Hicks.
We've seen him make those.
I could do
in the
that.
past, so we'll keep an eye on it. Right now, though, still approaching the 60. Right now, staying on that 15 south.
Yeah, this is a live pursuit here on KCAL9 and KCAL9.com as we continue to follow the stolen vehicle. It started quite a while ago, just about
See, I can't play a game like Dark Souls because I can't concentrate that hard the whole time.
This has gone through cities of Elmont.
Most games are good for me because I can,
Montclair, and now
be on cruise control and then concentrate on a boss fight. I really enjoy that.
Freeway along with that driver right now and the CHP.
Well, right now,
but it's like every fight you've got to concentrate on like hitting everything perfect. I can't do it.
Freeway, we did see that earlier on, but
mine's got too much going on.
Driving a little bit slower than the freeway speeds. That's what's creating that big cushion between that vehicle and other vehicles on the roadway. California Highway Patrol, though, they are not just going, oh, hey, look, he's obeying the law right now. We're just going.
Did you know Seth Rollins is from Iowa, DJ Dub?
Now, though, he's continuing on. We're going to be going southbound on the 15 freeway, going to be getting into the Eastvale area. Just kind of think Chino.
I don't think they're on the actual news channel.
That's a great place to be.
Joey, I think it's like they're online.
Popular names when you say it out loud. Right now, though, we're continuing on here. I'm going to get you some kind of speeds.
Because like they cut into you heard the anchors come on. Like so they were doing a newscast and the anchors cut in, got an update, and then went back out.
Creating that cushion, there's a lot less cars around him. The California Highway Patrol, if the vehicle does start to slow down and maybe get.
Well, I'm sorry I had to introduce you to who Seth Rollins is.
See some of those aggressive moves. We might try to see them bump that rear end, spin that car around. Other than that, there's an opportunity that with this kind of cushion that they might be able to pull something out of their bag of tricks. And California Highway Patrol, law enforcement.
I used to love the dude.
Jeff, those lights are off again, but the marker lights are on, so it's kind of interesting. You got to wonder what's going on, and then you can see that cell phone lighting up inside there. Lights are back on again. Don't know what that's all about.
I highly recommend Henry Rollins. Fantastic.
This car eluding officers.
Wasn't the biggest fan of Black Flag because I'm not really a punk person. If you listen to like a lot of his spoken word and shit, he's got stuff with music.
Right now, we're still
very good.
On the 15 freeway, getting into
all of his interviews, amazing.
So a long drive. Nobody's been injured, but this car continues just to keep going on these freeways this evening.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, Stu, because we're talking about the strategy related to the speeds, how they're kind of limited to what they can do because of the speeds and the danger of the situation. This vehicle at one point in time getting up to about 98 miles an hour. That's slowed down quite a bit since then, but still highway speeds, they can't do much. So if when it comes to a long chase like this, I mean, obviously they don't just go away. Do they just continue following this and trading this out and going to different jurisdictions and whatnot, and they just continue to follow this individual as far as they go?
Jeff, I always kind of wonder what the allure is, of watching one of these chases, and I think that's part of it, is nobody really knows how this is going to end. Nobody has any idea where this is going to go, how this is going to come to an end, what desperate moves this person's going to do. I've actually had a friend of mine one time tell me, why we love these pursuits? It's the good and evil. It's that battle between good and evil. I think that's a little too deep for this right now. This is just a guy in a stolen car that just doesn't want to stop. But we don't know where he's going. We don't know how it's going to end. And that's one of the reasons. That's one of the lures that.
Yeah, they've closed the road down.
And what is law?
They've had several.
How are they going to stop this? Well, we've seen them
exit ramps blocked.
Make these crazy moves. We watched them. They get off an off ramp, and then they make those aggressive moves.
Take my headphones off.
I've been corrected
Get comfortable.
Times in my ear. I was saying Chino. I know Chino Airport's out here, but we are actually getting into the Corona area. The next big freeway is going to be the 91. At these slower speeds, it's going to be a little bit longer before we get there. That car, though, continues to go. Got to wonder, how much gas does he have? California Highway Patrol, gas is not an issue. One of those cars gets low, they get out of their jurisdiction, they're going to go ahead and somebody else is going to take over. So they're going to stay behind this guy, regardless. He's in there this evening, he's flipping his lights on and off, he's driving along, wonder if he's got the cruise control going, what he's listening to. Hopefully it's KNX. But, you know, right now, this guy just kind of hugging that right lane, and makes you wonder, maybe an off-ramp coming up as we're getting into the Corona area. But, you know,
what is he listening to?
A lot less traffic, but still the same old scene. This guy's just driving, and California Highway Patrol,
good night, DJ Dub.
they want this guy to stop.
Yeah, so many questions.
Good luck moving
tonight about this driver. We have no idea where he or she is going to go next. If he does choose the 91 freeway.
I hope everything goes well for you, and we'll see you when you're in your new place.
Corona area right now, but we'll go east to Riverside.
Rest easy, my friend.
Take you back to Orange County, so it should be very interesting to see. But you know, oftentimes, Jeff, we see these drivers sometimes go back to their neighborhoods, go back to where they live, and you know, try a foot, bail in their own neighborhood after they've.
You think he's listening to Tiny Tim in the year of our Lord 2024?
He or she doesn't want to go back to the residential streets because of the fact that the CHP has more options, as we were talking about. Maybe trying a pit maneuver or. Trying the spike strips, right here on the freeway.
No, we're getting close.
They're at least, as long as they don't run out of gas, they're going to keep going and not run into any of those challenges, obstacles.
Or maybe, and maybe this person is just too far away from where their home is to get back there, obviously, because we don't even know how long this individual behind the wheel of this stolen car.
Ram Ranch, good evening.
In this stolen car. Now it looks like we're taking an off-ramp. Now,
I'll tell you how it's going. We're not high enough for this shit.
Is there a low tire that I saw on the back part of the vehicle earlier?
We're wondering the same thing. That was just a discussion in here. We're getting off the freeway. We're going to get you an off ramp here in just a second.
The left
makes
rear,
you kind of
maybe.
wonder. I saw something roll. I saw something roll across the roadway. Makes you wonder if the front tire is not completely gone. He's on the rim. It is the front driver's tire, completely on the rim right now. This car, it's probably a 5 Series. Can't guarantee that right now. 5 Series BMW.
I'm getting low, BB girl. I'm saving my green for after the stream.
Maybe not so solid. Right now, though, you can.
This one's had green in it the whole time I've been smoking it.
Rim right there.
But the bong's got like gunk in it.
He's driving around. It looks like this may be coming to an end, pulling into a gas station. We've seen this in the past where they've kind of just driven around out here. If he doesn't,
he's just gonna give up. You're not gonna run or anything.
Aggressive. This might
go on, Bill.
Driving very, very slowly out here. We see some other vehicles that appear to be law enforcement type vehicles. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Making that big U-turn right now. Worried. The reason why I'm getting a little bit wider is I'm worried that he's going to be approaching a California Highway Patrol vehicle. Right now, though, this would be the time when California Highway Patrol would jump out there and use that pit maneuver. But it does look like he's just kind of driving around, choosing these weird,
I might get some tomorrow.
Areas out here, just kind of driving very slowly. California Highway Patrol. There we go. And
I fucked my finances up the other day, overdrew my bank account by $1. I've had to.
Right there, you can see the officers just telling them.
I've had to overdrew my bank account by $1 and ended up getting like $100 worth of insufficient funds fees.
A little bit out here, but looks like it's coming to an end. As in the Norco area,
he's just gonna give up, isn't he?
Freeway.
And again, this is television here on KCAL 9 News today. Breaking news. This seems.
If you're gonna waste the police time, give us a spectacular ending.
In Boyle Heights near County, USC.
Don't just sputter to a stop and come out with your hands up.
This pursuit.
That ain't any fun.
Boyle Heights, and looks like the officers.
Imagine being in this car. There's somebody in there. I saw their arm.
Looks like the driver is getting out of that vehicle right now. And as far as we know, that driver has been alone in that vehicle this entire time, Jeff.
Yeah, he just given up.
This driver that you see here that's getting down on his knees, we understand that he's the driver in this vehicle.
Then what was the point? What was the point of all of this?
Face down on the concrete. They're going to come up. They're going to handcuff him. He's going to spend 2017. He's going to start off. He's crawling towards the officers at their request. He's going to spend the new year in jail. And this, at one point in time, was
this is like over holiday break in 2016.
Almost sideswiping a car as he was going onto an on-ramp. And then
Donald Trump had just been elected.
From an exit to a main road quite aggressively at high speeds, about 98 miles an hour.
And looks like
thanks, Obama.
Way at the command of CHP, right up to their vehicle there, as they still have their guns drawn, and looks like they're getting the handcuffs on this
It
guy.
looks like they're looking at the vehicle still. I wonder if there's somebody inside the vehicle.
Yeah, it's a good question. Stu, can we pull out a little bit just to see if there's anyone else coming out of that vehicle? I know that was still a question.
Well, they certainly have to clear the vehicle before.
I think it's a power move.
Anybody in there or not, and they're probably going to do that next. But you can see the officers' guns now trained on the car. After that is the driver of the suspect vehicle wanted for a stolen vehicle that is being taken away at this point in time.
I always hate it when we a letdown at the end. It was a letdown at the debate because Andy Biggs didn't show up. Little piece of shit. You know what? Most of you probably saw this already. But since it's so much fun, let's watch it again. Media Winch, were you here the other night when we played this? The most amazing car chase we've ever watched.
S11, everybody turn your body cameras on.
So much going on. So there's the suspect. U-turn by the cop.
Getting off at May, going east Main, 71.
In Columbus, Ohio, notice that they have no regard for the civilians. They put all kinds of people in danger.
Main, going 318.
This is the third time I've played this on stream. It has been so spectacular.
Green, you're good. Go!
I want you to keep your eye on the back of this cop car.
Is that him slowing down?
Wilson. Coming up to Wilson. Copper said he can't record it.
Keep an eye on the back of that car.
Ohio now.
You're good right, good right, good right, good right.
How many cars do we have behind it?
S11, 6 approved.
Something happens to his tire. I just noticed it. I wondered what caused him to do this. I think I might finally have an answer.
Go.
He's belling right now.
So that cop wrecks. So now if we go back here, I noticed him. It looks like he blows a tire.
How many cars do we have behind it?
Boom, right there.
Yep. 6 approved.
Yep. He's got a flat. So that's why he spins out of control. Because I was like, he's a dumbass. He just drove straight into a fucking fence.
Go.
He's belling right now.
But he blew a tire.
Come back to Maine. He's going to head back. He's going to come out on Maine over by the towers. Eastbound Maine.
Now they are going to put several civilians in extreme danger through this next section.
Go. Got it. Take it.
Can't right now.
Watch out. Left.
I gotcha.
You're good. He's missing a tire.
Yeah, he is blowing a tire now.
Southbound Alum Creek. Take him at the wall. Take him.
I think we even see his tire come across the road here in a second.
Take him.
Pit maneuver does not work.
Southbound Alum Creek still.
3 male black striper
15's gonna go for it.
Male black is the one with the male black white hoodie has a gun.
Mission 5 unsuccessful.
White hoodie has a gun.
Got a gun.
Come on, Gino, take it. Missed it.
He's got some major damage on his right side. I assume they knew that he was armed beforehand. There's multiple.
Good, good. Go, go, go. You're good. Good, 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 good. He's lost a wheel. S11, he just lost a wheel. We're still southbound Elm Creek.
Yeah, there it is going across the road. Like rubber.
We're going to be at Lions Den, bailing.
We're at the porn store. We're at the porn store. The rubber origin story. And listen, guys, I was skeptical, but I watched Rubber drunk with a bunch of people one night. That was a good movie. I want you to keep your eye over in this corner right here.
Bailing.
Watch this suspect as the cops run him over. It's amazing if he didn't have a broken leg. That is assault with a deadly weapon. The cop should be charged. Lion's Den does not look busy at this time of day, apparently. Maybe it is early in the morning. What time is it? It's 3:30 in the afternoon. No, it's 5:30. Why would Lion's Den not be busy? The second guy was running too, but he didn't get fucking run over by the cops.
We're going to be at Lions Den, bailing.
Yeah, how did I keep fucking that at 6:30? 6:30. I am horrible at math.
You take your 33 and a third chance, minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning.
Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna give you your animal video, but don't go anywhere. I'm not gonna get off. We'll say goodbye to YouTube. We'll go to play music. Done yet? I ain't done with y'all yet. Plus, it's Thursday. Dave isn't on yet, so. Tonight, you get penguin news.
海で目撃されたのはいるはずのないペンギンがぷかぷか浮かぶ姿。波打ち際でのんびりしているように見えますが、この時動物園から脱走中。
ペンギンはこちらの海岸でイベントの撤去作業中に行方不明になってしまったということです。
This is the return of a penguin that had been missing.
ケープペンギンのペン。海水浴場で開かれた夏休み限定の出張動物園に参加していましたが、撤収作業中にネットをすり抜けて出てしまったのです。
正直厳しいと思います。生まれてからこの方生きた魚を取る。
He'd been missing for a couple weeks. I'm sorry, I didn't realize this was all going to be in Vietnamese. I think Pin or Pan Chin. If you want to show the little girl some respect, is a 6-year-old African penguin from Japan. I'm sorry, from Japan. So this is Japanese. 1 minute she was in Pin on a beach on Hamakanji Island. The next she was gone. She swam through a hole in her enclosure and made it out into the open sea. The lost penguin was found 2 weeks later. Her keepers are calling it a miracle. She escaped while swimming with the keepers at the Gakiden Pinter Zoo. Pin was born and raised in captivity, so there was nearly no chance she was going to survive in open waters. She didn't learn any survival skills and isn't physically developed to withstand the rough seas. African penguins, like her, usually swim around 25 miles a day, but since she was bred into captivity, her stamina is lower and her muscle mass is nowhere near where it needs to be to survive in the wild. On top of that, a typhoon called Shanshan hit. Huge wind gusts, torrential downpours. It knocked out power, forced millions of people to evacuate, and killed 6 people. How is the little lost penguin born and bred into captivity supposed to survive that? Well, she did. Here she is, being alive and well.
そして2週間が経った一昨日のことでした。目撃情報が動画付きで入ったのです。その姿はみんなの心配をよそに悠々自適。場所は脱走現場から。
Well, if someone kidnapped her, then she was able to make it back, but they said that she was swimming in her enclosure and got out. I guess they had some sort of thing that lets her have fresh water come in.
ペンは外傷もなく状態も非常に良好だと言います。
正直なところ言うと本当かよって疑ったのが最
If 6 people have to die so this penguin can live, I'm for it.
取ったことがないという温室育ちのペンは。
Also, that kind of reminds me of a moral dilemma put out by Matt Walsh the other day. It was a few years ago. I would kill every ape in the world to save one human because humans are more important. It's a very simple choice, folks. Would you suck every ape's dick to save one human, though? Matt Walsh, would you suck every ape's dick to save one human? Matt Walsh, of course, once called me a formidable voice in the culture.
JustinFREAKIN is a formidable voice in the culture.
Yes, you had to suck them to completion.
なぜ奇跡の生還を果たす
Some of them can be a little tricky. Might need a little finger up the butt.
魚か何かしらを食べて生活してたんだなと思います。起点を利かしたペンのそれなの。
I don't care which human it is as long as Matt Walsh is sucking every ape's dick.
またちょうど羽毛の生え変わりの時期で体に栄養を蓄えていたことも理由では。
I feel like he doesn't do public appearances anymore. He had his big premiere for his movie last night.
悠々自適。場所は脱走現場から45キロも離れた。
45 kilometers is apparently how far the penguin traveled.
よかったね。
よかった。
I'm assuming this is them finding her.
無事発見。ペンは外傷もなく状態も非常に良好だと。
You'll probably have to wait a couple more weeks because it's not like officially out yet.
奇跡と言わざるを得ない。
Like this was like the Daily Wire's premiere of it in Nashville.
という温室育ちのペンはなぜ奇跡の生還を果たせたのでしょうか。
So it's probably like 2 more weeks and it's got a wide release.
魚か何かしらを食べて生活してたんだなと思います。起点を利かした。
If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening to the podcast, we're going to see you on Sunday night. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We will see you Sunday night on the Troll Patrol live. Twitch people, don't go anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to switch gears. Let me turn off the YouTube. YouTube is still hanging on. They're like, I thought you said bye to us. I didn't have the thing.